Are you
I
here?
guess we're going live.
Oh, we're going live.
Um, Hello everyone. Welcome back to Bingothon Winter 2023. We're raising money for Fred Hutch. We've got some great, amazing incentives coming up, which I'm sure people will tell you more about that. Um, there are a few things we need to get out of the way here. But first off, please donate to Fred Hutch. Just type in !donate in chat. Please welcome lab member here so we can get this run started. Lab members are not actually here. That's amazing.
We could get lab member in here.
Oh, hey.
We got lab member in here for Luigi's Mansion.
Yeah.
Oh,
Um, I don't think anything was audible just now on
Oh,
stream.
yes. That's fantastic. Is it audible on stream now?
All right, we are actually audible on stream now. That's amazing. Cool. All right. Yeah, we have lab member here. Hi. Please feel free to introduce yourself.
hi. Yeah. I'm lab member. I've been running this game. Well, I ran the game a little bit when the game came out. Then I kind of put the game away for a little bit, and then I came back around Halloween of 2022 to. I mostly do speedruns of the game, and then I got introduced to the Bingothon folks a couple of months ago. They asked me to commentate their one of their matches, one of their blind matches. And then so I kind of got to see firsthand what LM3 bingo kind of looked like. And I was like, hey, I kind of want to route this myself. So over the past like a while, I've been doing my own boards on stream. So I'm happy to kind of show this off from the sort of this time from the perspective of somebody who runs the game. Uh, so yeah.
Well, sounds like a lot of fun. Um, Looking forward to seeing this Luigi's Mansion bingo.
Yeah, I hope I can keep it interesting.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So whenever we're ready to go, I guess I can
Yeah. Well, we're
start the
we're
game
all
and
good to go here.
reveal the board. So time starts on when I click OK on this dialog box. So if somebody wants to count it off, I'll click OK on the dialog box and reveal the board. Attempt to do it around the same time.
All right, then we'll give you a countdown. Starting on go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Good luck.
Thanks. So this is a pretty linear game. So you're basically kind of you go do a level, you beat the level, and then you get access to the next level. Um, so a lot of the goals that you might see on the board right now are just things that can be accomplished by playing the game. So for example, like defeating bosses, um, and such. There's also a bit of side content like getting gems, getting booze, which aren't actually required to beat the game. So I might spend a bit of extra time in some levels. But due to sort of the linear nature of this game, the length of this bingo is pretty much dictated by how far in the game do I have to get in order to get 3 bingos. So I like to spend this sort of intro segment is mostly just kind of a time to kind of lock in a route. So let's see what we got. Kind of eyeing back and forth so I can, because that way, once I lock in a route, I can kind of focus on playing the game.
Well,
All
while
right.
you are, I just have a quick thing to say while you are figuring out the route and all.
Sure, go right ahead.
Uh, it is time for Floa and I to leave the host chairs, which are just our own regular chairs. And we will be leaving over to Crumpet and Ornia. This is my last hosting shift for this event, and it's been a lot of fun to be here and help raise money for charity. Fred Hutch is doing life-saving work, and we appreciate and they appreciate all of the donations you guys have brought in so far, and that you will bring in during the rest of this event. Floa, you have anything to say?
Yeah, no. I mean, you will still hear me later
Oh
on
yeah.
during the marathon. I am somewhat omnipresent
Yeah, I
during
guess
this
you kind of
marathon.
have to be here.
Job risk, I guess.
But
But yeah, no, I will still be around anyway. So yeah, thank you, Rudira, for hosting with me,
Thank
and
you.
yeah,
Uh,
good luck to Arnia and Trumpet, who will take over.
Thank you very much, Flora. Really excited to see what Luigi's Mansion has in store for us. I remember playing this game ages ago and I absolutely loved it, so it'll be nice to see it from a bingo POV. Um, but yeah, so we're kind of getting into the run now. Do you want to kind of explain what your thoughts are on the board, lab member, or what?
yeah. So I'm immediately ruling out a couple of possible bingo options. So top right, you can see Rescue Mario, which is basically at the end of the game. So uh, I've basically locked out row 1, column 5, and the diagonal starting from the bottom left. I've starred column 4 for column 4 seems pretty good. So I guess to kind of go over all of the things in there. So unlock the lab is what we're going to get pretty much at the end of like the sort of the first level. So after you beat the first boss ghost. Vacuum Polterkitty the first time, and Rescue Red Toad, and Unlock Luigi. Those are all story-based goals, and you would pretty much, in an any percent run, you would probably get through all of those within around the first hour of the game. And then the other goal that I haven't covered in column 4 is Vacuum Bulldog, which is the boo on floor 5. So just kind of hinting at sort of the order that we do things in this game, the floor 5 boo will become available pretty early on. You don't get access to vacuuming boos immediately, but it isn't too far into the board here. So I'm kind of eyeing column 4 right now.
Okay, that's interesting to get your thoughts on it. Would Luigi's Mansion, would the bingo scene be big, or is it kind of still finding its feet, or?
I honestly don't really follow Luigi's Mansion Bingo very much. The first game is also sort of suffers from being a bit more of a linear game, so it doesn't really have the sort of flexibility that. So, for example, say one other game I run is like Mario Sunshine, where like you can access a bunch of different levels at a time, and so there's a lot of more of opportunities to kind of make bingo interesting. A lot of when I do boards is I kind of I kind of lock in, okay, how far in the game do I have to go, and then I just kind of remember, okay, I have to go and pick up the gems here and stuff like that. We don't really host anything off the top of my head. LM3 in particular is a pretty small group of people we have that are still actively running the game.
Yeah, I get that, it being a fairly, well, not exactly linear, but it's less open world than like some of the Zelda games.
Right.
It
Yeah.
definitely kind of does limit the routing options, I suppose, that you can do. I suppose that it does have a fair bit more than, even the previous Luigi's Mansion games, but um, still, you wouldn't have to do quite as much, where do I need to go, what do I need to do, as maybe Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom or, Nier Automata. But, it's definitely interesting to see the bingo side of these fairly linear games, because it's a different kind of style of bingo, and it's nice to see it, definitely.
Yeah, I know for me in particular, it's a nice alternative to like actually doing runs, because sometimes I can hit a bit of like a mental block when I'm trying to push for like a PB or something. Um, and there isn't really that sort of mentality associated with playing bingo. So it's like it's a nice kind of like good to take like a mental reset, and I can still like practice my speed tech doing a bingo board, but I don't have to like focus on a big timer hovering over my head or anything like that.
Exactly. I know when I do speedruns of various games, that's what I always struggle with is the massive timer on my screen, and I'm just there shaking away. um, yeah, would LM3 be a very glitch-heavy game, or would it be a fairly glitchless?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest glitch that we kind of do in LM3 is it's called the goo push, where you use, if you know Luigi from this game, you literally just use Luigi to phase through certain kinds of collision, and that's used pretty heavily in any percent, depending on how far this board takes me into the game. There are a lot of different places I can kind of show it off.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah, no, phasing through collision, I'd say that would be cool if you get to do that at some point during the run. But 3 hours and 20 minutes is fairly long for bingo now. I would say. Would that be like a fairly conservative time, or would our Luigi's Mansion bingos just kind of that long in general?
I made a pretty generous estimate when I submitted my run. So I kind of took like the amount of time it takes me to complete an average any percent run. So it's like worst case, the board has me going through the whole game, and I maybe have to go and get some gems and stuff. The longest board I've had to do so far was probably around 2 hours and 45 minutes, which took me up through the 13th floor of the game, which is pretty darn close to the end. There are 15. Well, there's 17 floors total. There's 15 floors, and there's 2 basement levels.
Okay,
But
I
yeah,
get you. I get you.
this looks like a board that I won't actually be required nearly as much time to do. Just this heavy disclaimer for the people that are monitoring the schedule and anything. This one's probably going to be done pretty quickly. The more I'm taking a look at it.
I'm sure Floha will be absolutely delighted to hear that. And you're doing a triple bingo. Yeah.
Yeah.
So 3 lines.
When I was doing this, it was like I originally was going to do blackout bingo because that like gets the most out of the content. But then I kind of realized, well, if I'm doing blackout bingo, that's just me playing the game, and then I just swing by the floors where I need to get gems and stuff. So it's not really interesting from a routing perspective because it's. But triple bingo definitely allows for more kind of like I give myself the first round 10 minutes or so to kind of lock in a route and kind of sometimes see, okay, was this the best possible bingo? And sometimes it's not as like straightforward as, despite me saying it's like a very linear game.
Okay. And do you want to kind of explain what you're doing now, where you're heading now that you've unlocked the lab and kind of gotten
Yeah.
through that first bit?
So after the basement level, Egad wants us to go and pick up his briefcase because he left it in his hotel room before he got trapped into a painting. So floor 5 is our next level. So during the first sort of portion of the game is where we're kind of what's the word I'm looking for? We're kind of picking up our upgrades and stuff. You don't get everything immediately. So in the beginning, you get the Poltergust, the Dark Light from Dark Moon, which lets you kind of reveal hidden objects, which you'll see in a couple of levels. After this level, we're going to get Luigi, and EGAD isn't going to bother us for a while, and then a couple levels after this one is when you get pretty much everything. So, well, almost everything. So we'll get access to being able to search for booze, and then the in-game shop, which lets you purchase extra lives as well as radars to help you find gems and booze and such.
Okay, so making some early game progress then. That's always good.
So my plunger ended up behind the suitcase. Speaking of the plunger, so I do have the suction shot. So I should mark that. And I think I'm probably going to go for a bingo that does contain that goal. So I did have my eyes on column 1 for a while. So it does have Defeat Crawler, which is the boss of the level after this one, actually. So he's an early game boss. Picking up a couple gems. So there are a couple of different goals where it's like either get all the gems in a level or just get a singular gem from anywhere. And usually it's actually a lot harder to kind of in isolation pick a gem. It's a lot easier to say, okay, I know I get all the gems on, say, floor 5 or floor 6 or something. I just go do it. But then I have to put a little more thought into, like, if I'm just going to get a green gem from anywhere, it's like, where's the fastest green gem I can get? And you might have seen one in the hallway, as which I didn't draw attention to. So I might swing by and grab that one, actually. So I'm actually going to have to take a minute to fight this boss. So
No worries, getting some action in. Always nice. Well, while you're fighting the boss there, I might just, give a shout out to Team 17 once again, our absolutely wonderful sponsors, as we celebrate the 5 years of Bingothon. So if you're just joining the stream now, this marathon over here at Bingothon marks 5 years since the original Bingothon marathon in December 2018. And in that time, we've raised over $28,000 for various charities, completed 11 marathons, and branched out into various external events and content, including the Blind Bingo series and the Breath of the Wild Bingo Bash tournament, among several other ones. So to everyone who has been here in some shape or form since the first marathon, thank you, and here's to another 5 years. Because it'll be, we're not planning on stopping anytime soon, and we're going to keep doing what we're doing. In particular, we have marathon. We're supporting Fred Hutch. Bingothon has raised over $13,000 for Fred Hutch over the past 3 years, all going towards life-saving research, treatments, and patient care, as well as helping over 80,000 people receiving their COVID-19 vaccine at Fred Hutch in the last couple of years. Furthermore, this is helping Fred Hutch unlock how cancers and infectious diseases start and spread, harnessing the immune system to fight disease and working to make treatment more equitable and accessible for more people. And we're hoping to make it to $15,000 raised in total for them for this marathon. I believe we're very, very close to that, if not already there. And we have a few goals and bid wars coming up. So we have the Final Fantasy V Career Day, where if we raise another $85 towards that, the players will have to defeat the portal boss. And then we have a few bid wars for naming characters in the Final Fantasy V Career Day run as well. And you only need to donate $4 to submit your name for some of those, which is brilliant. And we also have some Team 17 game packs available. If you donate $25 or more, you'll be entered into a giveaway for some of those. We have the co-op pack, the family-friendly pack, the horror pack, the platformer pack, the story-rich pack, and then if you donate $40 or more, you'll be entered into the grand prize for Team 17's 2023 releases pack. And we also have a few Bingothon specific prizes that you can win. If you donate $5 or more, you'll be entered into a giveaway for the neutral Bingothon mug, and if you donate $10 or more, you'll be entered into a giveaway to win the 5th anniversary Bingothon mug. So lots of prizes up for grabs, so make sure to put in !donate in the chat to get the link to donate, and remember, all donations go towards the brilliant charity that is Fred Hutch. So yeah, back to Luigi's Mansion 3. You've ticked off a few more goals there.
Yeah, the more I look, the more I kind of pivot my eyes back and forth. This is really interesting in that like I'm not going to get very far through with this board through the game with this board, but there's a lot of really interesting options because it seems like there's more things that aren't related to like the story, like I had mentioned. So one column. Am I in column 1 right now? So I don't know if I mentioned column 1 before. I think I had. I was in the middle of talking about it. So there's get a green gem from anywhere and a white gem from anywhere. The story-related goals are defeat Cruller, which was the boss of this level. This is the shopping mall level, if anybody remembers that from the game. And I'd have to route in another boo. So boo at arms is the boo of floor 6, which is first half of the game, and probably a mark around like the 1/3 mark, maybe in the 1/4 mark, depending on what category you're running. So that one looks pretty nice.
Definitely, yeah. Would you say that there's it's a mixed board in terms of late game and early game goals, or is it very mid game, or what would you
Yeah,
think
so I
about
guess I
this
can.
board?
So the late game goals I can kind of try and point out through like a quick look at the board. So rescue Mario I'd mentioned before. Collect all gems on 14F is very late game. So 14F is the second to last level in the game. Rescue Yellow Toad I would consider to be second half of the game. So the Yellow Toad you get by beating floor 12, and that is I usually end up there around the 2-hour mark of the game, and this is approximately a 3-hour run. My any percent PB for reference is a 245. So I do kind of want to talk a minute about like there's like really subtle optimizations that I've been doing in this level. So normally when I'm bringing the key over to this cash register here, there'll be like a little animation where Luigi holds the key up in front of like the shop on the top right and sees that the symbol on the key doesn't line up with the symbol that's above the shop, and that's sort of like trying to hint to the player that each symbol on like the keys lines up with like a suit from like playing cards, which lines up with one of the shops. So he does two different animations. He does one in front of the top right shop where he says, this is the wrong one. And then he'll do another one in front of the top left shop where he's like, this is the right one. And so I skipped both of them. So the first one I skipped by taking like a really wide turn around the shop. And the second one I skipped by spawning Luigi around the same time you would normally hit the trigger for it. And I can kind of push him past it by backing into him with the vacuum because Luigi comes out the back. LM3 has a lot of like really sort of like subtle optimizations that aren't like super flashy, but are kind of interesting when you draw attention to them. Like, so for example, we have a no major skips category, which is less heavy, less reliant on like the heavy glitches in this game, and is more reliant on like things like boss optimizations and other such like really small skips. So it's a lot more, I think, skill based than it would be like based on glitches and such.
Yeah, I get you. We have something similar in Breath of the Wild. Well, it's I think it's called no major glitches as well, where all the movement tech in particular is banned. So it involves a lot of horse riding and things like that. But yeah, I definitely do really like watching glitchless speedruns for pretty much all games, even games I don't play, because it really shows off the runner's skill, as you said. But yeah, the graphics for LM3 I think are really, really good.
I
Plays
remember one thing that stood out to me is I think there's like a close up of Luigi during like a cutscene, and like there's like some serious detail in like his overalls in particular. Like you can kind of get an idea of like what like the material that his clothes are made out of, just because like the detail that they had put into it. This is a really nice looking game in general, though.
Yeah, it really does play into its art style very nicely. And all the special effects as well with all the ghosts are nice.
So one thing I guess I can bring attention to are there's some goals that would say like vacuum a certain kind of ghost. So a lot of the early game introduces you'll run into pretty much all the different types of ghosts that you'll see pretty early on in the game. I think the latest goal the goal that's like that shows up the latest pertaining to like vacuum a certain kind of ghost is the Trapper Ghost, which shows up during the first Polterkitty segment, which is around an hour into like speedrun.
Okay,
Actually,
I get you.
the diagonal going from top left to bottom right looks pretty nice. So I'd have to route in an extra boo, but we're actually going to get the center goal, which is to vacuum the Hammer Ghost, in just a few seconds. So here I'm actually going to walk by the really close to the gem, which is going to set up an autosave. So we're basically kind of tricked the game into thinking we picked up the key, because I guess the neighborhood or whatever for picking up the key is larger than the hitbox for actually picking it up, and that's because we're gonna get thrown down the escalator here. And so while we're waiting for this hammer to walk down the escalator to confront us, I can walk and pick up the key here. Oh, there we go. I'll mark that one. So I guess in terms of route locking in a route, I'm kind of right now eyeing column 1, column 4, and then the diagonal starting from the top left. I just have to think about. It's interesting because these set of bingos in particular, I have to pick up gems, but I'm not necessarily restricted to picking up all my gems from a particular level. So I have to do a bit of quick thinking in terms of where do I want to pick up my gems.
But I suppose it gives you so much freedom to do that you'll be able to kind of do that whenever you want or
Yeah,
whenever it's most convenient.
I've been kind of keeping it in the back of my mind in terms of like, okay, how far in the game am I going? And I have run 100% a total of 2 times, but but I do know in general the location of all the gems. The only difficulty is I don't remember the color of said gems. They're just all the gems, and I don't really think about, oh, this one's the red gem. I had to put a little more thought into that. So that was Crawler.
Yeah.
So there was a boss optimization there, if it wasn't like totally obvious. So normally when you're fighting boss ghosts, they give boss ghosts like really large health bars to sort of extend combat compared to like a regular ghost. So a lot of the optimizations in LM3 speedrunning involve what we call one cycles, where you try and just sort of pull the boss ghost down to 0 health in like sort of 1 round of combat approximately. So what I do is I point the funnel of the poltergust into the room, and then I slam Crawler 3 times and then intentionally let go of him, so that he gets caught in the funnel on the way out of the and he gets stunned sort of there. He gets kind of has this little animation where he's trying to escape the funnel but he isn't getting caught. So I can stun him and then I can grab onto him again. Otherwise, he would go off and disappear, and I'd have to do the whole pulling the sunglasses off of him. So there's a lot of like really cool ones. I don't know how many I'm going to be able to get to, but
Okay. And just a quick thank you to Zelda Speedruns for the raid. Thank you so much. We're currently just playing a bit of bingo for Luigi's Mansion 3 here during our Bingothon Marathon. And we're currently raising money for Fred Hutch. They're a charity that researches life-saving treatments and patient care, and they have helped over 80,000 people receive their COVID-19 vaccine. over the last couple of years. And furthermore, we're trying to help Fred Hutch to unlock how cancers and infectious diseases start and spread, harnessing the immune system to fight disease, and working to make treatment more equitable and accessible for more people. We're hoping to raise $15,000 in total for them. Over the last few years, we've raised $13,000, so we're hoping to just get to that nice round number. And as always, thank you to our sponsor, Team 17, for helping make this marathon happen. And they've provided us with a few prizes for people to win if they donate. There's multiple game packs if people donate $25 or more, and if people donate $40 or more, then they're entered into the giveaway to win Team 17's Grand Prize 2023 release pack. We also have a few Bingothon mugs up for grabs. If you donate $5, you can be entered into competition to win a neutral Bingothon mug, and if you donate $10 or more, you'll be entered into the competition to win our 5th anniversary mug. Speaking of, this marathon marks 5 years since the original Bingothon marathon in December 2018, and in that time we've raised over $28,000 for various charities, completed 11 marathons, and branched out into various external events and content, including the Blind Bingo series and what I'm sure our Zelda fans who've just come in with the raid will be interested in. It was our Breath of the Wild Bingo Bash tournament we had a while ago. And we've had several other kind of events like that we've had here over on Bingothon. And to everyone who has been here in some shape or form since the first marathon, thank you so much. And here's to another 5 years. I think you got another goal there while I was rattling on about.
Oh yeah, I realized I never actually marked the unlock Luigi segment, even though I got it like 10 minutes ago. I'd be really bad at competitive bingo because I just forget to mark all my goals when I get them.
Definitely, yeah. I know. Sometimes it's a strat in some games to intentionally, leave
Hide
your
what
goal
you're doing,
unmarked.
yeah.
Yeah, like in lockouts and things. I remember during the Breath of the Wild Bingo Bash tournament, my teammate and I, Taco Sensei, we had intentionally left a few goals unmarked, and it kind of tripped up our opponents a little. So yeah, it's definitely a strategy that's fun to use. Whereabouts are you going now? What goal are you trying to kind of look to get next?
Yeah. So we're currently finishing up floor 2. The first half of this level is you fight the boss, and the second half of the map is the level is we have to get the elevator button back from this mouse. So it kind of takes you around to the rest of the level if you were like kind of thinking, wow, this was a really short level. So these are the oozers. So this is sort of another sort of ghost that there might be a goal that would say, vacuum this specific kind of ghost. So they just like to kind of hide in things and throw stuff at you.
Okay.
So that's sort of the game's introduction to it. So we're gonna follow the mouse here.
I really love that the pool table, the snooker table, is like you can actually use it, like the balls move around. I think that was really neat.
So one goal that we didn't actually get to see on this board is there's an achievement for playing billiards on 2F, which is basically you get it when you use the poltergust to either pull or push all the pool balls into the pockets. So you can actually kind of interact with it, which is really cool.
That's that's definitely a really cool goal. Would you say that LM3 has a large pool of goals, or would it be kind of small? Or
there's a lot of content in this game. I sometimes I think I'll see goals that I haven't seen before. So there's a total of 17 floors. Each of them all have getting all the gems. 16 of the 17 floors have booze on them. So every floor also has like a boss ghost. But yeah, there's also the achievements, which is a a whole sort of thing I can go through. So there's the billiards. This board in particular has find the royal coffers on 6F. I think I'm going to be getting as far as 6F on this one actually, but I probably won't be doing that one. Did I get anything while I was? I don't think so. So I guess like really last minute routing change almost. The more I look at column 3, the more I like it than column 4. So column 3 has vacuum boostment, which is the boo on this floor actually. Defeating King McFrights, which is the boss of floor 6, which is actually the next level. No, not the next level. Sorry, I forgot about floor 4. So after floor 4, we're going to floor 6. Collect all the gems in B1. So by getting all the gems in B1, I will have then met the goal for collect a white gem anywhere and collect a purple gem anywhere. And I could have also met the collect the green gem anywhere as well, I guess.
I'll just take this opportunity just to interrupt you for a second. I'm terribly sorry, but we've just had a few donations come in, and our Anya, sorry, my English is completely awful when it comes to pronouncing names, but if my co-host would like to read them out, then we can just get through some of those quickly.
Absolutely. And your pronunciation of my name was perfectly fine. So, yeah, we got 2 amazing donations, which took us over $1,300 raised for Fred Hutch. The first one being a whopping $63 donation by Harlan Sinclair with the great comment, "Loving the bingo content and love supporting a good charity. Keep up the great work and congratulations on 5 years of Bingothon. Thank you so much for your generous donation towards our charity." And we also got a second donation by Floha saying, "Shoutouts to labmemb3r for commentating the blind bingo match with me. Having some expert input was really insightful. Excited to see how people with game knowledge play bingo in this game." Thank you very much for your donation, Floha, and yeah, see you later.
And I believe I've just seen in chat there that Harlan Sinclair also subscribed to Bingothon with Prime. So do enjoy yourself.
Thank you.
Really
So here I'm going to
appreciate
try
it.
and
Thank you so much.
I'm trying to do a good push to avoid climbing down the ladder. So this is a good push you would not see in a typical any percent because there's no reason to go here aside from picking up the gem.
Okay. It's definitely been a really cool run to watch so far, seeing you navigate through the mansion with just such skill and expertise. I would have gotten completely lost by this point.
It definitely kind of came from like you do it enough times, but I do remember like occasionally forgetting like, oh, where am I supposed to go again? Like it's such a large game and so this is actually the first time I'm going to attempt to find a boo. Hold on, let me turn my Rumble on. I think I shut it off. There we go. I wish I could save that like in between games because I don't like having the Rumble on for Metroid Dread, but I need it on to find boos in this game.
Is there no way to find them without the Rumble, or does it just make it easier?
It makes it easier. So there is a visual, so you can see Luigi kind of shaking around. So Luigi kind of reacts to the presence of boos, and so when he's closer to a place where a boo is hiding, he'll kind of shake around more violently. But it's also aided by the Rumble, because sometimes it's hard to tell. The Rumble is definitely like a lot more noticeable near a hiding spot, and it's a lot easier to go based off of like the sensory than looking at Luigi.
Are you in B2 at the moment, is it?
This is
or
B1.
B1. B1, okay.
So
Are you going for all the gems, is it? Or
yeah, I think I think the only one I'm missing is the yellow one. So I can mark these two now.
Would the goal of defeating King McFrights be later into the game, or what kind of floor would that be on?
So in terms of game order, we're on our way to floor 4, and then after floor 4 is 6, and King McFrights is the boss of 6. So coming up pretty soon.
Okay.
Oh, I also collected all the gems of B1. Perfect.
You're really knocking these goals out of the park.
This is such a short board. I kind of feel bad that I can't show off as much of the game.
all
But yeah,
good.
so on average, so let me think. On average, I tend to finish around so the pyramid level, if people are familiar with the ordering of the game. So the pyramid is around within the second half of the game, but it's the earlier part of second half, if that makes sense. Most of my runs, most of my boards I've completed have finished around the pyramid. I mentioned, I think earlier, that the longest board I had done took me all the way through floor 13, which is there's only like two more levels after floor 13 actually. So I was pretty darn close to the end on that one. It took me pretty far. But yeah, this is probably the shortest board I've seen so far in terms of like what I'm going for here.
Okay.
I guess for fun, I'll mark collect a blue gem from anywhere, even though it's not part of any bingos I'm going for right now.
All right. Might as well make the
I
big
hope it
number
isn't too
go
like
bigger.
misleading. Usually, I'll only mark the goals that I'm contributing towards, but I don't know if it'll bother people that if I complete a goal and I don't mark it. So this is Amadeus. There's actually kind of a little bit of interesting history with this guy. Current patch of LM3 is version 1.4, and with 1.4 came a patch. They actually patched out a huge skip in the speedrun. So before version 1.4, what you would do is you would goo push Luigi up onto the stage, and there's a door hiding behind the curtain on the left. And so if you open the door and to leave and then come back in, you don't actually have to fight this boss. So it saves approximately, I think it was 2.5 minutes. But I play in a physical copy of the game, so I'm stuck with current patch. But that means I could kind
Okay.
of that's why I'm doing the boss right now. And this is sort of the first boss where you're kind of forced into three cycles. It's a very structured boss fight. So there's a couple of sort of checkpoints throughout the game where you have these sort of more structured boss fights as opposed to the ones that I've been kind of one cycling up to this point. So Amadeus is one of them. The T-Rex boss in the museum level, if anybody knows that one. And then the pirate captain, which only 2 of my boards I think made it as far as the pirate fight, which is the yellow toad in column 5, if anybody's interested. So
Would
if I see
the
rescue yellow toad on the board, it's like I'd rather not, but if I can't find anything earlier, I'll probably go for it.
okay? And would the speedrunning community? I know you were talking about versions there with the skips. Would some people just play on like version 1.0, and then others just prefer playing current patch, or is there no divide in the versions in terms of like the leaderboards? Like, would there be a divide in the leaderboards for it, or?
Yeah, so on speedrun.com, we do actually divide by current patch and legacy. Pretty much every version, I think, before 1.4 plays exactly the same. They're just a little more unstable and prone to crashing, but we do separate our leaderboards. So people will sometimes go and do legacy any percent, or I know recently Legacy any percent was shown off at Pace Fall Pace 2023, I think.
Okay, I get you. I definitely think it's really cool when a game has the version differences with glitches and things, so you really get to see almost another two sides to the game when you have like older versions and then newer versions. I think it's really cool.
Yeah, that was sort of a big thing that kind of came with the Switch, right? Because Nintendo used to not be able to patch their games. So like Mario Sunshine, for example, was stuck with skips like Gelato Beach Skip and early Yoshi Go Round. They couldn't retroactively patch them out. So I know, yeah, Tears of the Kingdom, Luigi Mansion 3, and another game I ran, Metroid Dread. I don't know if any. No, yeah, there were some glitches that got patched out, but I don't follow that as well. But yeah, the ability to be able to patch games on the Switch kind of changes things up in the speedrunning community, and to kind of address it, I guess.
I get you, yeah. And looking at the board here, you're probably going to be finishing up very soon, probably about 2 hours before your estimate. So I was just having a quick chat with Floha there. Do you think you'd be able to do a blackout in your estimated time of this board, or?
Yes.
All right,
I'm
so
fairly confident. What's my time look like right now? Actually, I'm curious.
you're
Uh,
just at 43 minutes there.
43. Okay. So I did take some time to get the gems on B1. I'll try and get as far in as I can, but again, since Rescue Mario is on the board, that means that I will be playing up through basically the end of the game if I have to do a blackout. I'm cool with showing off. I was a little disappointed when it was like, oh man, this is like, I think honestly after King McFrights for triple bingo, I'm just gonna go back and get 2 more boos, and I think I'd be done. But yeah, I mean, I'll try and get as much of the board done as I can. But if I hit the time limit, yeah, I'd be down to see how far can I make it with the goals that have been presented to me on this board. Absolutely. So
Cool.
if the overseers are cool with it, yeah, I'm down.
Fantastic.
Definitely.
Now I was wondering, with this official category change, how does that change the strategy that you've been following up so far, or does it change nothing really?
Yeah, so I guess the way I would approach Blackout Bingo is assume that I have to finish the game to get all the goals, and so I'm probably just gonna play this like almost like a pseudo 100% run. Um, yeah, in terms of side content, what do I have to do? So I have to get all the gems in B2, 14, and 9. And were there any boos? I think of the things I had marked, I was going to get all the boos anyway. One really cool thing, I guess, that I hadn't addressed yet was column 2 has a goal called buy 3 gem finders. So I never really talked about the goals that are associated with purchasing things from the in-game shop. So I've only seen 3 goals. There's buy 3 gem finders, buy 3 boo finders, and what was the other one? Buy 5 gold bones. And buy 5 gold bones actually came up during the blind bingo match, and we had decided that because you get one for free when the in-game shop becomes available, and so I had to ask. I said, does that count towards the 5 gold bones that the runners have to buy? And so Floha was like, nah, we'll have them buy all 5 of them. So there is a bit of money routing in now, so I have to kind of find some places where I can pick up some money. So gem finders are around 1,000 gold a pop, so I have to route in 3,000 gold worth of money. And if I'm playing the whole game, that isn't going to be a problem at all.
Definitely.
So
And how far through the game would you say you are at the moment?
yeah, so this is King McFrights. Normally I'd be here around the 45 or so minute mark if I was just doing any percent. So that's about a fourth of the way through the game. So there's a lot more up ahead.
Okay. I love the Colosseum kind of aesthetic for this boss fight. It's really cool.
This is I love the sort of themes they go with this game because up to this point we've done sort of like really reasonable hotel aesthetics, right? There's the RIP suites was floor 5. There's the cafeteria or like the restaurant. There's like a stage for you to like go and watch like performances, and then they say, oh yeah, this hotel has a medieval castle in it. Like it's such a bizarre kind of theme, but yeah, I really like some of like the non-hotel or things you wouldn't see in a normal hotel, I guess.
So I was saying that our timer is slightly wrong, and you're on 45 minutes. Okay. So you're making absolutely stunning pace right now. You've got just over half the board completed in 45 minutes, which is incredible work.
Yeah, a lot of this pace is kind of dragged behind by a couple late king goals. I mentioned we have to collect all the gems on 14F. We have to rescue Mario, which is all the way at the end. And rescue Yellow Toad is usually pretty far into the game too. I have to check something. Can I open this door? Oh, I defeated King McFright, so I guess I should mark that one.
So you have your first bingo of the run with
Oh yeah, look at that.
3. Always nice to see.
So these are the royal coffers. So there's a door hidden behind the sort of banner here, and so you get an achievement for doing a little bit of exploration.
Yeah, definitely. It's nice when developers add little things like that.
All right, let's see. So, I have to. So, so the fact that Vacuum Boo at Arms is on the board is there's a really funny kind of quirk in this game that I should probably bring up. So one really important thing, if you have to get gems and boos from floor 6, and this is an issue that comes up in 100%, is if you're gonna do the goo push to skip the whole level like I did, you have to kind of meet the game halfway, and so I'm gonna have to quit out and open the game back up, not open the game back up, but reload my file. So basically, you by not queuing up that cutscene that I had by walking into kind of like the center of that sort of circle in the floor, the game won't unlock the front door to go into the castle. And so if you didn't know that, you'd basically be locked out. So the compromise that you would do in say 100% is you play the game up through the next story checkpoint, and then you quit out and load from said story checkpoint. And so basically in doing that, I've tricked the game into thinking I've completed floor 6 legitimately. So it'll unlock the door for me, and also it'll complete all the puzzles and stuff. So if I had to go back and get gems, for example, everything's done for me. I just have to swing by and pick up all the gems. So there's the saving prompt on the bottom right corner of my screen. So that's my cue to restart the game.
Just a small thing while you're restarting the game. Flo just mentioned it to me quickly there. There's no game audio coming from your stream. I don't know if you have the sound turned down or...
Is it like really quiet or?
No, your voice is fine. It's just the LM3's audio. There's just none coming from your stream at all.
Sorry, I didn't realize that. Here we go. If I put it to monitor and output in OBS, let me know if that fixed it. Because up to this point, I'd only been monitoring it.
Perfect. I'll just check that quickly, and then I'll be back in just 2 seconds, so you can keep talking, and I'll just have a good look, see if that fixed it.
Sure.
Yep, seems to be fixed. Thank you.
Oh, great. Okay. I apologize. I'd ask because so normally when I play this game, I have an external cap card, so I monitor the audio, and then I play my desktop audio, which has the monitored audio on it. I was saying, you know, how do I monitor the audio without picking up the Discord call at the same time when I stream? So we'd kind of done half of it.
That's totally fine. For some reason, I thought that might be an intentional thing from your side. I was thinking that maybe because Luigi's Mansion in itself is a bit of a scary game, you don't want like the sounds, the ambient sounds, though, so they don't scare you or something, which would have been a perfectly reasonable explanation, to be honest.
Oh, I should have gone with that then. Yeah, I like that, like all the like voices for like the boss ghosts and such. This game has like a lot of charm to it. You know, Luigi getting scared at literally everything. So I guess
It's also nice when. No, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was gonna say. So game-wise, this is floor 7, the garden suites. So you basically have to make our way up to the top of a really big beanstalk to pick up the elevator button. But I don't have any bingo-related goals here, at least not yet. I somehow didn't slam the toilet there. That's a sentence I never thought I'd hear utter in my life.
Well, now that I've heard everything, I can safely sit back and, you know, have an absolutely great time.
There we go. Yeah, so this is our first introduction to the Slinker. So we're like 50 minutes into the game, and it's still introducing new ghosts to us. So the Slinker ghost, I like to call them the Grabber ghost because it's a bit more of an apt description of what they do. They sneak up behind Luigi and grab onto him.
Would they be one of the tougher ghosts in the game, apart from boss ghosts, or is it a boss ghost?
Casually, I can imagine that they can be a bit of a difficulty for people casually playing the game because they turn invisible until they grab you. You can actually reveal their position with the dark light, but that's nothing. I don't think that's anything the game like explicitly tells you to do. Like that's just kind of you just kind of wait for them to sneak up on somebody and try to get the jump on them when when you do.
Okay. And would ghosts in this game have like set positions where they are, so you know where they're going to be when you start a run each time afresh, or would they be RNG their positions?
Yeah, no, it's the same every time. So it's pretty much all, you know, muscle memory for me.
That's good. That's nice. Handy.
I know. So I'm gonna associate some fine print with that one. So in 100%, you'll often be revisiting levels because usually in 80% you do the level and then you're done and you never come back. And in 100% though, you'll go back to levels to get like booze and gems and stuff. And sometimes there'll be ghosts that like are roaming the area even after you've beaten it. And I think that is random if I remember off the top of my head. But usually you don't interact with them at all.
And would there be much of an RNG manipulation scene here in the LM3 community? Would that be a thing, or not really?
Not really. Everything is pretty deterministic, I believe is the term. So on the topic of RNG, though, I do want to talk a little bit more about the goo pushing because it's a really nice segue. So the goo pushing is like this really bizarre thing where like people didn't know like why does this happen? Like sometimes depending on sometimes you'll open the game and all of a sudden it's really difficult to goo push in locations where it was really easy the last time, and that's because this game's it's not like it's probably not the most accurate way of saying it, but this game's physics is is randomly generated. So whenever you open the game it'll roll some kind of random number, and that random number is correlated with how easily you can push Luigi through collision with a goo push. So often when you're doing runs and such, you won't close the game for a really long time. You'll usually leave your Switch hopefully in sleep mode, so you're not like you don't have a really big utility bill the next month. But yeah, like I know like when I was grinding any percent, like I'd have the game open for like a week so that I have the right RNG to be able to do all my goo pushes.
Oh wow. I love when like strategies like that are discovered and developed. I think it's really cool. Because it's just kind of neat to have the knowledge that if I do this with the RNG, I'll have a quicker run, and it's strats develop from that and around the RNG, and it's cool.
So you may be wondering, how did Luigi end up back there? So this is a sort of a smaller skip, but I figured I'd show it off anyway, even if it took me a while to get it. I'm trying to shoot a plunger on the same side of the flower so that I don't have to walk around, but perhaps the game is a little angry at me for cheating a little bit. So I'll do it the correct way. So that goo push in particular is like really bizarre. So during these sort of segments where you have to like swing across vines, there's like void out zones where if you fall down, the game will teleport you back up. So I goo pushed over some collision there, and I was able to land on a void out zone that teleports me all the way to the beanstalk instead of having to do a bit of extra work.
Oh, that's really neat. So now that you have that next floor button, where do you think you'll be heading next? Will you just be going on to the next floor, or?
Yeah. So since I'm playing the game sort of in its entirety, I'll probably route in getting the booze that I wanted when it's a little more convenient for me to like work my way up the elevator. So later on in a couple levels, we'll be going all the way down to B2. And that's usually when I like to route it. If I have a run that makes it as far as B2, that's usually when I route in my booze, because I can kind of just work my way up the elevator and grab them on the way over. I feel like that's like a really petty optimization, but like minimizing the number of inputs into the elevator, I do. But yeah, so how many boos do I have on this board? 1, 2, 3. So I think after B2, I can get all of them after B2. I had mentioned earlier that so Boo at Arms is floor 6, Bulldog is floor 5, and Boogie is floor 4. All levels that I've completed. So the way boos work is once you beat a level and then advance the story to the next level, the game will hide a boo in the level you've beaten, with a few notable exceptions. So all of those boos are available right now. I just have to make the move to go and get them.
Very cool. What do you think will be the last goal you get on this board?
Rescue Mario.
Is that like a hard, that's what it's gonna be, or is it like it could be, or?
Yeah, so Rescue Mario you do after beating the second to last boss in the whole game. So I won't be beating the game per se, but I'll be pretty darn close to doing it. So it's not really a difficulty thing so much as it is a story-based progression. I have had boards where my last goal isn't based on the story. So for example, the other day I had a run where my last goal was, what was it again? I don't remember. I think it was on getting a boo, I think. So I went back, I got a boo, and those are my 3 bingos. So the next non-story related goal I'm probably going to go for is getting all the gems in 9F. So right now we're on floor 8. And so floor 9, if you were to kind of follow the numbers, would make sense to come after this one. But yeah, in
definitely.
Terms of non-story, it's just the boos and the gems right now. Oh, and routing in the money for the 3 gem finders. have to do that.
How much money do the 3 gem finders cost? Or
3,000. So
Okay.
for just I guess a sense of like scope in terms of how much money is in this game, to get an A rank, so this game brings back the ranking system from the first Luigi's Mansion game, where the game counts up how much money you have and assigns you a rank based on how much money you get. A rank is 70,000 gold. That's over the course of the whole game. I think somebody data mined the game, and there's close to, I think, 96,000 like total possible gold in the game. So it's actually a pretty tight requirement if you don't know where everything is.
It does 100% require you to get all the gold in the game, or?
No, you only have to get A rank. It'd be really difficult to get all the gold in this game, just because of so gold spawns whenever during combat, and it'll then despawn. So there's no guarantee. Like the game won't like say, oh, you missed this gold, or you didn't get it fast enough, and so it despawned. It won't like spawn it if you like fight the ghost again or something. So you're just kind of stuck if you don't get the gold on like a first pass.
Ah, okay. I was about to say it kind of turns it into a Breath of the Wild Korok scenario, but it really doesn't. It's just it's 10 times the pain.
Intended to get all the gold in this game, I think, in like a single playthrough.
Have people done that before? Just gotten all the gold, or?
I don't think they have in this game. I know Luigi's Mansion 1 does have a max percent where you have to get all the money. And if the money despawns, you have to like load a save or something and try again. But yeah, I don't know if we have anything like that for LM3.
If you load the save, can you get another shot at getting the money?
Yes, exactly. So usually you kind of periodically save so that like if you don't collect all the gold, because sometimes I know there's like one room, for example, where the gold just falls out of bounds in the first game. There is a bit of like a variable with like getting gold in this game. So, for example, if I defeat multiple ghosts at the same time, you'll see like gold bars kind of come out of them and stuff, and that's dependent on how many you slam at a time. So I think you get more gold if you slam more ghosts at a time, and that's totally not really in the player's control, but it can be a bit difficult to kind of maximize the amount of gold you can get out of combat.
I get you, yeah. What do you think will be the next goal you will be checking off on your board?
Yeah, so the next goal, story-wise, is a story goal. That's vacuum Polterkitty the first time, and we're actually going to be doing the first Polterkitty segment right after we beat this level.
Okay.
So I guess I've kind of glossed over a lot of the stuff I've been doing just because I've been mostly split between talking about the board and talking about the game. So you might notice that as I was going through that level, I totally didn't visit one of the studios, and that's because I did a skip what's called a torch skip. So the whole deal with this level is the director lost his megaphone, and so you have to kind of like bring props in between the TVs, which you can't normally do you can't bring props through doors. So you would have to bring props in between the different studios, and eventually you can get the megaphone, which I did with the lit torch. And so you can grab the torch from the second studio early by kind of clipping it through the wall, like over the castle wall. And that saves around 1.5 minutes, I think, because you don't have to go through the first studio. You have to like drop a bucket into the well, and the lady from the ring will fill the bucket with water for you, so you can water a beanstalk in the second studio to grab the torch. And so from there on, what is he doing? So you can kind of expedite this boss fight a little bit by air blasting him and kind of forcing him into breathing the small things of fire, and then eventually he'll do the big one. Where is he? Oh. Alright, let's see. So if this was a normal speedrun, I'd probably be finishing this segment within the first hour, I think. Or pretty close to the 1 hour mark. But it did take some time to get gems, so might be a little off.
Okay, so just while we have a bit of a lull, my co-host Orania and myself will do just a little plug for Fred Hutch and Team 17. So for those of you who are just joining us or don't know what we do, we are Bingothon, and we raise money for various charities through marathons where we play bingos. We play bingos within games, and this marathon marks the 5 years since our original Bingothon marathon, all the way back in December 2018. And in that time, we've raised over $28,000 for various charities. We've completed 11 marathons and branched out into various external events and content, including the Blind Bingo series and the Breath of the Wild Bingo Bash tournament, among several other ones. And to everyone who's been here in some shape or form since the very first marathon, thank you, and here's to another 5 years. And if my co-host Orania wants to say a few words.
Absolutely. To make it worth your while, I just want to tell you all that we have a veritable pirate treasure awaiting you for each of your each donation that you make. Cumulative donations, I should say. Befitting the 5th anniversary of Bingothon, befitting the 5 golden years that this event has seen so far, for a minimum donation of $10 throughout the entire duration of the marathon, you have the chance to win a Bingothon mug that is specifically modeled for the 5th anniversary. For an $30 minimum donation, you have the chance to win a a digital code for EU for the new Super Mario RPG, which is kindly provided by the Bingothon staff. But if you want to go all in and go for the grand prize of this event, for just a minimum donation of $40 towards Fred Hutch, you have the chance to win the entire 2023 game releases of Team 17. So as you can see, every dollar towards Fred Hutch is a dollar well spent. So if you want to give a little bit yourself, if you want to give a little bit, if you can, it's just type !donate in chat, but you can also find the donation link below the stream. And with that, I hand it back to our dear runner. And yeah, how's it going so far?
Yeah, so we're currently about halfway through the first Poltergeist segment. So this game has 2 segments on your sort of journey up the hotel, where the hotel owner's cat will take the elevator button away from you, and we have to kind of chase it around. So currently it disappeared through the floor, which I don't know. It's almost sort of embarrassing for me to admit, but when I played this game casually, I had no idea that meant that the cat went down to floor 7. So I was running around like a buffoon trying to figure out where it was supposed to go next. But yeah, so both of these sort of Polterkitty segments have you kind of revisiting levels that you've already beaten to try and find Polterkitty. And Polterkitty will hide in the same place every time, so it's pretty scripted.
Has Luigi's Mansion done the revisiting floor thing in the previous games, where ghosts will go down through floors? Because I want to say that I've played a Luigi's Mansion game where something like that has happened before, but for the life of me, my memory eludes me at the moment.
Yeah, so like the structure of this game is a lot different from the first 2 entries, because the first game it was like the one mansion, and it was all like kind of well connected, and so a lot of the game order was just kind of dictated by which rooms you got keys to, and there was never the only thing I think you'd revisit a room for was to get the booze, actually, which you do in this game, but this is but boos aren't actually like required for beating the game in this game, but they were in the first game. So I guess there was a sort of need to revisit levels for that aspect. The second game is a bit kind of different because it's like the mission-based structure of like you have like the 4 or 5 or so different mansions, and then like each mission would take you through like different parts of that mansion, I think. So it is a sort of a bit different in sort of. I would consider sort of revisiting levels like the Polterkitty segments to be a bit more unique to this game, just because there's a bit more of an incentive to revisit levels in terms of getting booze, getting gems, and then these sort of scripted segments like these. Whereas really the only motive for revisiting levels in the first game was just for getting booze. You pretty much did everything in a room like when you were lighting it up the first time.
Okay. Would Polterkitty be one of the harder boss fights in the game, would you say, or would it be pretty easy or middle of the road?
Polterkitty's pretty easy. So it's pretty much just sort of like this sort of cycle of find Polterkitty in its hiding spot, flash it to turn it into like the big monster, and then you have to get it to sneak up on Luigi so that you can flash it with Luigi and grab onto it. It's pretty simple. It may be something like, I don't know, you might not pick up on immediately casually. It's really hard to kind of put myself in the shoes of where I was casually playing this game. I kind of take a lot of stuff for granted. It's like, of course, it's how the game's been for me every time I've run it.
And would you have been running this game since it came out, or would you have only started running it more recently, or?
Yeah, so I mean, I've been running this game on and off since the game came out. Back in 2019, I actually didn't have an HD cap card, so I had no way of being able to record my runs or stream them. And then I think I got my HD capture, and I was like, oh well, why don't I go back to this game? So typically, I tend to do speedruns of this game around Halloween to be festive. I haven't really put a super big amount of time into this game, but put in enough that I feel like I know what I'm doing.
Okay. And you've just marked off the vacuum Polterkitty the first time there, and oh, you rescued Red Toad. I completely missed when you did that.
Yeah, so Red Toad we got during the Amadeus boss fight. Yeah.
Ah, okay. I know particularly when I'm watching a game that I wouldn't be as familiar with, I tend to just not notice as many things because I'd be trying to focus on what's going on, but then be completely lost and then kind of go, oh, that's what that was, or that kind of a thing.
Yeah, sometimes you have to kind of let it sink in a little bit. Yeah. So
but it's
up
also
next,
nice. Oh, sorry.
Oh yeah, sorry. So up next is 9F. Aesthetically, this is the museum level. Aesthetically, I love the idea of like the haunted museum. The downside is that this is like this is a small boss level, like the Great Stage, like the Amadeus level was. So they personally, it's like there's a bit of a missed opportunity to have like all sorts of like different like rooms based on like the haunted museum theme. But yeah, I just wanted to express how much I really like this the concept of this level, even if it's like not a lot going on with it. But we do actually have a bingo goal here. So I collect all the gems here, and so similar to B1, I can get all the gems here in one pass actually. So after I beat the boss, I'm gonna go pick up some gems.
Cool. What would be the hardest floor to get gems, would you say, to get all the gems?
Oh, I'm actually to think about that one. I guess for me it would be like, what's the furthest out of my way, out of the any percent route where I would have to get my gems? Floor 11 maybe? That one's has me going well out of the way to get a lot of its gems.
Would you not visit that in the any percent route, is it, or
Sorry?
would you not visit floor 11 in the any percent route, is
Oh,
it? Or...
all the floors show up in the 80% route. You visit every floor at least once.
Ah, okay. Apologies, I'm not familiar with Luigi's
no worries.
Mansion, so I was
didn't
like,
mean to come across as like, oh, of course. Yeah.
No, it's alright. I for some reason assumed, oh no, you don't go to every floor. Why would the game developers make you go to every floor? Like, why would they do that?
It's like if there was like a bonus floor or something.
Yeah, that would be actually really cool, you know, DLCs where like the mansion gets, you know, an extension or something. And they did like have a bunch of builder ghosts or something. That would be kind of funky.
Yeah, I mean the DLC added I think the Scare Scraper, and that's sort of like the procedurally generated. I don't know if I'm using procedurally generated correct there, but it does feel like a procedurally generated Luigi's Mansion.
Okay. So once you've beaten the boss, you said you were going for all the 9F gems. Would you then be just kind of rushing floor 14 or B2 or?
Yeah, so after floor 9 actually comes B2. So the weird thing about B2 is a portion of B2 is actually blocked off. It's another of the levels that we have to revisit. And you can't get all the gems on the first visit through B2. So one sort of thing that might appear misleading at first is like, well, B2 is so early in the run, as in it's like within the first half of the run, why wouldn't you route in a goal like get all the gems? That's because the entirety of B2 isn't available to me until closer to the 2-hour mark of the run. So I'd have to get pretty far in if I want to get all the gems in B2, even if I can beat it within like the first hour and a half. Oh, Luigi's still over there. I was like, why am I not spawning him? So this makes use of Toad as a projectile weapon. So when you rescue Toad, while you're bringing him over to the elevator, you can shoot him at like different things. So in particular, in this level, you can fire the display case. You can fire him at the display cases, and some of the display cases have gems in them. I keep forgetting to despawn Luigi.
Is Luigi meant to auto-follow you, or does he just kind of stay where you left him?
So usually it's based on if you pan the camera far enough away from him, he'll despawn and kind of get teleported somewhere. But since this is kind of a small level, it's more yeah. So I mean, typically he will stay where you left him unless you pan the camera too far away.
Okay. And would each floor have the same number of gems, or would it be, would it be different for each level?
Yeah, so every floor has the same number of gems. We got 6 gems on every floor, and they're the same color every time.
Okay.
Green, yellow, red. I literally have them on the bottom of my screen. Silver, blue, and purple. Is that all of them? That was all of them.
Very nice. And did you say it was 3,000 for all of the gem finders?
Correct.
Or was that...
How much do I have right now? I haven't been paying attention.
2,930 something, I think.
Oh wow,
23.
okay. I must have picked up some money because I know I had close to 2,000 leaving the studio because there's a if you burn the gold spiders with the torch, you can get a good sum of money out of them. But I must have grabbed some somewhere. But yeah, so typically, if I'm going through the whole game, there's a segment where I'll have to teleport back to the lab. Normally, if I wanted to go and make a purchase at the in-game shop, I would have to route in an extra visit to the lab. But there's a point later on in the run where we will be forced to go back to the lab, and so that's probably what I'm going to cash in and buy my gem finders.
Okay. And I have a quick question about the board and the way it's generated for LM2. Would the community have like designated a difficulty to the golds and then allowed the bingo generator to generate it based on the difficulty, or is it just kind of they were all put in? Or
yeah, there isn't really like a difficulty curve, I think, associated with the goals in this game. Like a lot of it is just kind of, by either playing the game or there's some like side content. I think it's actually a pretty accessible bingo. Like we had 2 people that were like totally new to the game, and they were able to get a lot of goals, and I think they had 3 hours to do it. Like I think one of the runners prioritized story-based goals, and another one focused more on getting like the side content in every level. And the person that prioritized the story made it all the way up to the pyramid level in 3 hours, which was pretty impressive. Saying this as a speedrunner. And then I think I'm trying to remember how far the person who did the side content got. Like they got like all the goals related to like gems and booze and such while before moving on or something like that. I'm trying to remember how far did they get. I want to say they made it to like the movie studio level or like Polterkitty or something.
okay, that's really cool when a game is, really accessible to the newer players, and they don't have to, know how to be like the number 1 speedrunner in the world just to compete.
Yeah, no, this is still like I think really fun to do in terms of like if you've played the game casually once, you have a general idea of like the game order, and you want to try to do this with a friend or something. Absolutely.
Yeah, and you're just 8 golds away from the finish, which is really, really good. You're about an hour, just over an hour and 20 in, and
okay.
yeah, the board is mostly all green, and I love how you colored it the Luigi color, green. It's a nice touch.
So, even though I'm really, really close to 3,000, I probably didn't have to do that, but that's fine.
And you've hit the 3,000 mark.
Yeah, I think so. I think the most money routing I had to do on a board was I had in my triple bingo, I had buy all 5 gold bones and buy 3 boo finders, which is 8,000 gold. But I'm trying to remember how far into the game that took me. But I did have to kind of like go out of my way to get like money locations and stuff to get 8,000 gold in like say the first half of the game.
Oh, okay. I love how Luigi's just riding a little rubber ducky down the river. That's amazing.
Yeah, this is sort of like the, I guess every level kind of has like some kind of gimmick to it, and so this one is the rubber duck ride down the river, where you have to kind of coordinate between Luigi and Luigi to like, so that Luigi can kind of take the path outside the water, and then I have to lift these doors, for example, so the spikes on the end will pop my my floaty tube.
Yeah.
Oh wait, I let go of the lever before Luigi go into the pipe. There we go. So this one in particular can be a little tricky. So if I pull this gate open all the way, I'm going to spawn some sharks that'll pop my boat. So I'm going to do like that one meme, and I'm going to open the door, open the gate a little. Or I do that. Okay, that's also an option, I guess. Yeah, so so typically, yeah, it's a little better to, if you can open the gate enough so that Luigi can go under it, but not so much that I let the shark ghosts in. And that would be like the ideal kind of outcome.
Is it like a super finicky trick to get, or?
It's definitely not intended. So like you have to kind of get like just the right amount. Because you saw there, I opened the gate a little, but I didn't open it enough for Luigi to go through it. So there's a bit of trial and error here, where I kind of like tap on the analog stick a little bit so that I can slowly inch the gate open, and then I try and get Luigi in there. Let's see how this is. Okay, that was good enough. Okay, second try. I think that was like the biggest mistake I made this whole run, which honestly I'm happy with myself.
Yeah, you've been doing absolutely fantastic.
I agree. Judging from the state of the bingo board, you're doing well.
Thanks.
So I was wondering, now that we are just a little bit under the halfway point, I just wanted to ask a more general question, namely, what makes Luigi's Mansion 3 such a great bingo game in your opinion? And why would you recommend it to other folks to try it out?
Ooh, that's a really good question. I think there's a lot of like variation, even though this is like a really linear game. This game gives you a lot of opportunity to kind of like every board kind of takes me through like different parts of the game. So yeah, I think the linear nature of the game is a bit deceiving in that, you know, like I've had a lot of fun in terms of routing this. Like the other day, I had a board where it wasn't actually clear what the fastest triple bingo was, and I remember like I kind of went over it more carefully with after I finished, and I was like, oh well, if I went for this goal instead, and we even saw during like the blind match where you have the two different approaches of like doing all the content versus prioritizing the story-based content and then going back and doing stuff later. And both approaches were pretty valid. Like it was a really close race if you saw it. So just getting through the story isn't all of it. This does kind of test a lot more of your game knowledge in terms of like knowing where all the gems are, knowing the names of all the boos. I remember starting out, I had to. Oh, I didn't realize I was running low on health here. I was too busy focusing on. Can I pick up health somewhere? Would be nice. There's one. Good enough.
Hey.
There is actually, on the topic of losing your health, we do actually have a goal where you intentionally get revived by Polterpup. So I had to think about, okay, where's the fastest place I can lose all my health in this game?
I love goals like that in bingo games.
I do want to grab a little
really
bit more
funny.
health before I fight the boss, though.
especially in games in Breath of the Wild where we have, I'd say, 5 or 6 different goals where it's like die to this or die to that. It makes it interesting because, you know, it would be one of the first goals that people would go for, and you can just see, you know, especially when there's like 4 players or a lot of players, you know, just everyone just rushing to throw Link's body into some hazardous condition. Would Luigi's Mansion 3 bingos, would the community hold like tournaments and things like that, or would it just be all kind of fun bingos, or would you compete against each other much?
Yeah, not really.
competitive?
Again, it's sort of like we don't have a lot of people actively running the game right now, so it would be really difficult to kind of organize like a really like sort of like big event where you want multiple people kind of participating in like a bingo.
Yeah, I get you. That's always tough, I suppose, when you don't just have the manpower and the people to pull things off. But you know, maybe in the future, after people watching this run, they might be inspired to start learning and running the game, and you might be able to do something in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. We'd be happy to, you know, just have more people interested in either running the game. Maybe we can try to get like a community for bingo. There's yeah, the LM3 communities. They've been really helpful in terms of like helping me get better at the game. Everybody's like really friendly that I've interacted with.
Yeah, and I suppose that it's, you know, how friendly the community is just as important as, you know, the game itself, because, you know, a great community really, you know, makes things more enjoyable for everybody.
Absolutely, yeah.
And just to remind chatters that, and thank you CGS for putting that in the chat there, that we do have a feedback form. So if you have any feedback about Bingothon Winter 2023's marathon, you can fill out the form and just, you know, tell us what you thought of it, what you thought we did good, and things like that, and just any general thoughts you had on the marathon. You know, we're delighted to hear from you all, and yeah. So what goal kind of are you thinking of doing next, or the next couple of goals?
I might get a couple boos. I've debated whether I'm going to get all of them at once or if I want to split it, because I'm going to be coming back here anyway. So that I can kind of work my way up the elevator twice. I have to go back here and get all the gems anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, I can maybe get like 2 or 3 of them, and then I'll save the other one for after the second B2 visit or something. Am I in the right place for this? Oh, there we go. I'll grab that. Okay, so I got half the gems.
Lovely. What floor would you rescue Yellow Toad on?
12.
12, okay. And is Mario on like 14 or 15 then?
Yeah, 15.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So there is a goal that is even further ahead than rescue Mario. I've yet to see a defeat King Boo goal. Who's, of course, it's Luigi's Mansion. King Boo is the final boss. I don't think that's a huge spoiler or anything. There is a rescue Princess Peach goal, which is even further than rescue Mario is, but not by much.
Okay.
I had a board where I think I had a board that had rescue Mario and rescue Princess Peach, or like another like really late game goal in it. All right, so we're revisiting floor 4 to get Boogie. I love the boo puns. Every LM game has its different boo puns. I think they even do it in like different languages. So I know like in Japanese, boo is called Teresa, and I think all the puns are based on that instead of boo. But I don't remember off the top of my head because I can't read the dialogue boxes.
Ah, okay.
Was the boo in here this whole time, or
Would this game
yeah.
have like a fastest language then, even like to do bingos in?
That's a really good question. So the speed in terms of like fastest language is dictated entirely by the total number of dialogue boxes. And the winner there is European French. And I say European French is because I have to distinguish that from Quebec French or Canadian French. Apparently, they're different enough that they had to do new dialogue boxes for the people in the province of Quebec.
Okay, that was thoughtful of them.
It's funny because European French is really fast, but Canadian French is really has a lot of extra dialogue boxes, which is really weird. I'm trying to think like I don't remember, but I'm barely losing time in terms of oh, I got tricked. I saw the Luigi was reacting to the cash register, but I didn't realize the cash register turned on the sink. That's not where the boo is hiding. So usually, the way the boos work is if you don't find the right place, the boo will teleport over to another room. You don't have to go look for him.
Okay.
So typically, the radar will kind of start to go off when you're really close to the room that's hiding the boo. Unfortunately, with floor 4 is like the 3 different locations the boo can be hiding in are like spaced very far apart from each other. So like ideally, in 100%, the boo would be in here because I have to go back here and get gems. I'm fairly confident in this location, but I'll kind of walk around a little more just to kind of get a feel for all the different hiding places. Yeah, I think it's this basket. There we go. I know there are some rooms where you can actually kind of triangulate where the boo is hiding by kind of like the hiding locations are like jars that can be like pulled around the room. So if you have like 2 jars that are like really close to each other and you can't tell which one has the boo in it, you can kind of pull one and kind of see how Luigi reacts to like if his reaction changes at all. It's like
Cool. That's a neat little piece of tech.
boogie. So let's see. I guess since I'm on the right side of the elevator right now, so I mean I guess it won't really matter because after the second B2 visit, I'll also be in the. Oh wait, no, I won't. Will I? No wait. I'm thinking too much into it. I'll get one more boo and then I'll continue the regularly scheduled story-based gameplay. Let's go get boo at arms. That way I'll have another bingo under my belt.
Hey, second bingo.
Actually, to be fair, if I got Bulldog, I would have also had a bingo. I would have had 2 bingos, so maybe I should have gone for that one first.
Maybe. But we have Flo in chat saying that they know that South American Spanish is heavily different to EU Spanish.
Oh, I didn't think of that. That makes sense. I guess it's, I don't know, like, how do I phrase it? It's like, I just found it like really bizarre because I know like, sure, there's like, you know, the different South American countries, and then like for like English, for example, you have like the different English speaking countries, like the British English versus like the American English. But for French, I think Quebec is the only province in Canada that speaks French, right? So it's like they dedicated an entire setting in the menu to like a really small group of people, which I guess, you know, good for, you know, inclusivity purposes, I guess, right?
Yeah, maybe they have just a really, really big audience in Quebec. So is there much voice acting in this game? Or would it just be kind of minimal?
Yeah, so everybody, it's you know, it's a Mario game, so in terms of like audio, it's just kind of like, you know, the gibberish. Like Egad has his you know, hoo yabu yabu. Has like a really bad Egad impression. But yeah, like even like the ghosts have like, you know, like the different voices, but they don't have like spoken dialogue. So that's why the fastest language is pretty much based entirely on dialogue boxes, because they didn't have to like dub the game. Like for example, I think Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom have dubs. And so the dubs, I think, affect how long the speedrun is, if I remember correctly.
Okay. We also have our very own Mrs. Spock in chat interjecting here to say that she is a Canadian from Quebec, but there are French people in every province of Canada.
Oh, well, there you go. Okay, interesting. I learned
You
something
learned.
today. It's good to have like a good, worldview or what have you.
Exactly. Alongside Bingothon raising money for charity, we're also an educational platform.
But
All
not
right.
only that,
Oh.
we are here to also have fun. And speaking of fun, we have received a fantastic and generous donation of $32 by Anonymous saying, I had to. And this person had to because this donation went straight to the Final Fantasy V Career Day, defeat the Portal boss incentive. With $32 going in, we only have $53 left to go. So if you want to see that incentive met, which will be due in about 6 hours from now, just type !donate in chat and get the donations in to meet it as soon as possible.
There's a little bit of like irony in the sense that you said, speaking of having fun, when I just started the pyramid level, this is my least favorite level in the game.
Oh, sorry, I haven't realized.
Oh no, yeah, I mean yeah, it just offended.
I can hear the pain, just your soul just leaving your body.
Yeah. So the pyramid, I think, has the hardest. Well, not the hardest one cycle. There's one that's definitely harder than this one. Of the ones that I go for, this is probably the hardest one. And in general, like, this is actually the longest level in the speedrun. I think the best segment time that anybody's done is around 12 minutes. And it takes me closer to 13. For reference, I guess the second longest level is the last one, and that takes me around 11 and a half minutes to do.
Oh, and by the way, I hadn't realized it on the first glance, but we have officially raised $1,337 for Fred Hutch now.
Yeah.
So
That's amazing.
It's great. I love it. Thank you so much for your great support, everyone. Thank you. It's all going towards a great charity.
Absolutely. And if you know, Bingothon has raised over $13,000 for Fred Hutch in the past 3 years, all going towards life-saving research, treatments, and patient care, as well as something over 80,000 people receiving COVID-19 vaccine in Fred Hutch in the last couple of years. Furthermore, this is helping Fred Hutch unlock how cancers and infectious diseases start and spread, harnessing the immune system to fight disease, and working to make treatment more equitable and accessible for more people. And we're hoping to make that 13,000 into 15,000 by the end of the marathon, which I think we're very, very close to if we haven't already passed it. And I believe we're extremely close to having raised $30,000 total since our first marathon 5 years ago, all the way back in December 2018. And if we reach $1,544, that will be bang on 30k, which is absolutely phenomenal. But yeah, so this is five years of Bingothon. It's hard to believe. I know I haven't been around all that long, but for what I have been around, it's been an absolute blast. And hopefully we can continue on for another 5 years and beyond, would be absolutely brilliant. And if I'm not mistaken, you got another goal there.
Did I? Oh, I marked the goal for Boot Arms.
Yes, that was the one. That will be your second bingo. Well done.
Thanks. So the whole deal with the pyramid is like there's these three sort of like puzzles that we have to kind of do. Actually, hold on, I almost forgot to do this. So this Boo boulder is hopefully going to help us out in an upcoming ghost fight. 9 times out of 10, it usually doesn't. But better to try than not at all, I guess is the saying. So, I guess sort of a fun fact, I guess. The puzzle pieces for this level are actually in the same place every time. So it's just kind of a thing that you just commit to memory. I haven't figured out how to optimize it though, so I just kind of play it as best I can to grab. A lot of optimization in this game is splitting the work between Luigi and Guigi, because even with it just being one player like me, you can kind of be smart with like what you do with Luigi and what you do with Luigi, so you can finish rooms faster. So for example, like I'll put Luigi like next to the door to leave a room, and then I can have Luigi go and beat all the ghosts in the room, and once the room is clear, I can just open it instead of walking all the way over to the door. Just to give like a really vague example.
Okay. So what are kind of the order you're planning on doing the rest of the goals in?
I guess so. Let's see. What's up next? So in terms of like a forecast, so up next is going to be floor 11, and then is our B2 revisit. So when we revisit B2, I'm going to be getting all my gems. But before that, I think I'll be having my forced revisit to the lab. Oh, actually, hold on. I just realized, I think both of the grabber ghosts should have spawned. So one really cool thing about the boob boulder that I had mentioned earlier is that it'll immediately unravel any mummies it runs into. Otherwise, I would have had to like go up, and I'd have to personally walk up and unravel every single one by hand. So that's a little bit of a time save there. I was in the middle of saying something. So I think my next goal will be getting all the gem finders. I do that before the B2 revisit. Then I think after B2 revisit, it'll be Bulldog, and then yeah. Rescue
Maybe
Mario,
Yellow Toad after that.
The last one, and then 14F would be the second from last one.
Okay.
I can do everything else afterward.
Do you kind of have an ETA on how long you might be able to complete this run? Because you're making absolutely brilliant time at the moment.
I have to think about how long it'll take me to route in the gems. I've also been going out of my way to get boos. So if there's one boo, Bulldog usually isn't too bad. Bulldog is the floor 5 boo. If you remember the layout of the RIP Suites, which was the level where I fought the maid boss, Bulldog can hide in the different suites, and so the difficulty there would just come down to how quickly I can deduce which one he's hiding in. So that one isn't like a lot of. There are a lot of floors where it's a lot easier to find the boo. And 14F, the gems aren't too bad. 14F is a pretty short level, so getting the gems isn't too big of a deal. B2. I'm also kind of factoring. I'm running the math in my head right now. So around Pyramid, on any percent pace, I would probably be around an hour 45 in. And I have almost all the side content done, except for a couple places where I have to get gems and boos and such. Let's say another hour and a half.
Okay. Funnily enough, I think an hour and a half is just at your estimate, which is bang on. Unless my math is just well off. which is always a possibility with me. But I did kind of miss it there earlier. Mrs. Spock was giving us a bit more information about Canada's French-speaking provinces, and she was saying that the Quebec would have the kind of largest group of French-speaking people, but there would be smaller ones other than that. Ontario and New Brunswick, specifically, have a large number of French people. And apparently there's small French communities in the US as well, in Louisiana and Florida. I didn't know that.
That kind of makes sense when you phrase it like that, because I mean, English is sort of like the primary language in most of the United States, but you know, not everybody's primary language in the United States is English, if that makes sense.
Yeah, Spanish is a big one, I think.
Spanish, Mandarin, all those.
Yeah. You know, it's great to see language diversity. It's a really cool thing to see.
Yeah, like mad respect for people that have the, you know, mental capacity to be able to speak more than one language.
Exactly. There's loads of languages, you know, that I'd love to learn because, you know, language is just handy. But, you know, my brain is just like...
communicate with more people?
Maybe not. Yeah, exactly. More friends.
So, if anybody remembers the optimization I did for Crawler, the Mall Cop boss, we're going to attempt a harder variation of his one cycle on the Pharaoh here. We're going to try and get her caught in a funnel, and where is she? I actually don't know where she was. Hold on. I thought I flashed the flashlight multiple times, but it didn't work. That's cool. I still have an attempt at the one cycle, I guess, or the one cycle strat.
It's really neat how dynamic the sand is in this game. Like, I know it's a little thing, but it's still cool.
I wonder if this was all just kind of like a flex to show, like, check out the Nintendo Switch and its ability to process sand.
True. You know, I don't measure my games by, you know, frames per second or how well it runs. I measure it by the sand dynamics.
It was like, I think Luigi's Mansion 1 itself was also like a tech demo because of, it was mostly just there to show the technical prowess of the GameCube. Sunshine's Manta boss was kind of the same.
It's neat when developers do these kind of things because, you know, it really just shows how good the new consoles are, and, you know, it's great to see. And yes, Floha, I would agree with you that the majority of people in here speak more than one language, because we have people from all over the world here with us in Bingothon, which is, again, lovely to see.
All right, so we're just wrapping up the pyramid. There's going to be a bit of a dry spell in terms of goals I'm going to go for. Floor 11 doesn't really have anything interesting on the board right now, but it's kind of a cool level. I like the concept they were going for. But some segments are actually really tricky to optimize in a speedrun.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh. Oh, yeah.
I guess to kind of check in with the audience, I hope everybody's having a good time. I'm having a blast. I'm getting to show off more of the game than I had originally anticipated, because this in terms of triple bingo, this is probably the shortest board I've ever seen. I was worried that the board would be too long, and that's why I made a 3-hour estimate.
Yeah, it's great to see this much of a game, particularly when in a marathon setting, generally where the runs are capped at a couple hours, but it's nice to see the full
Yeah, I mean,
extent
like,
of a game.
the nature of speedrunning is like do as little of the game as possible unless you're doing like 100% or something. So it's like,
Yeah.
so this is the Twisted Suites. This is the magician themed level, and so this makes heavy use of using the dark light to reveal hidden things.
That's really neat.
A lot of mimic objects too, like trash cans and treasure chests.
Yeah. Is there
It's
any
all
more
about
kind
tricks,
of
I guess.
new features to be revealed in the game yet before the end, or?
Yeah. So actually, there's one huge upgrade we haven't gotten yet. That I'll probably keep it a surprise until we get it. But yeah, this game still has a couple of stuff up its sleeve in terms of like mechanics and such. It's a really small thing, but yeah, you don't get everything immediately.
Cool. And I suppose now will be a good time just to tell people what's coming up after the Luigi's Mansion runs. So after this, we have Pummel Party, I believe it is, for 3 hours. Then after that, there's Road Trip Adventure, and then after that, later tonight is Final Fantasy V Career Day, which will be really, really cool to see. And speaking of Final Fantasy V Career Day, we do have a few goals and bid wars coming up for that. So we have the defeat the portal boss incentive. So if we get another $53 towards that, then the players will have to defeat the portal boss. And then there's a few little bid wars going on for naming characters for Final Fantasy V Career Day. And I believe you just need to donate $4 towards a couple of them, and then you can get to choose what you'd like, up to a 6-character limit. And yeah, I'd also like to thank our sponsor, Team 17, for sponsoring Bingothon Winter 2023 and for their continued support in the past few events. We have quite a few game packs that are up for grabs if you donate a certain amount of money, and if my co-host Orania would like to tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, sure. We have so if you donate a certain amount, not only is it going towards the Fred Hutch Cancer Center, which is a organization that Bingothon has raised money for over the past few years, $13,000 in the past 3 years, in fact, which was all going towards life-saving research, treatments, and patient care, as well as helping over 80,000 people receiving their COVID-19 vaccines in the last couple of years. So, and to make it, you can see that every money that is going towards Fred Hutch is money well spent, and to make it worth your while even more, we have an entire pirate treasure of prizes that you can win for a certain amount of money that you donate in the duration of the marathon. For example, befitting the 5th anniversary of the Bingothon event, we have a Bingothon mug that is designed as such, provided by the Bingothon staff, for just a $10 donation. Also provided by the Bingothon staff is a EU digital code for the new Super Mario RPG for a minimum donation of $30. But if you want to go all in, you have the chance to win several prizes that are connected to our sponsor Team 17. For a $40 donation, you have the chance to win all of their 2023 releases, which is also the grand prize of this event. So if you want to go all in, if you want to go all the way, then hit the donation button, just type !donate in chat and give whatever you can. The money is going to a most amazing charity, so you won't regret it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So just back to lab member now. So kind of, what are we doing? Where are we going? What's happening?
Yeah. So the big twist, I guess, no pun intended, for this level, is that you make it all the way over to the. Oh, I'm grabbing onto a fish. Sorry. The rooms basically scramble in the sense that you'll open a door on the map and it won't take you to where you think it is. It isn't random, fortunately for the speedrun, so it basically just kind of comes down to committing to memory the correct order in which you open the doors. But like every room has some sort of ghost fight that you're trying to optimize, which makes this probably one of the more difficult segments in the run, I'd say.
Alrighty. That's yeah, no, just all the playing cards everywhere and the kind of magician theme. I'm really liking this.
Yeah, I like
it
the
looks really
aesthetic
cool.
of this level.
Definitely, but would you be kind of getting tired at this kind of point in the run? Like, would it just be a bit much, or would you be able to? Would you have the stamina for a lot, kind of a thing in this game? Or
So that's a really good question. Back when I started out speedrunning, I started with 70 star, which is like a really short category. I had eventually kind of branched out to like longer categories. So one of my longer categories starting out was Super Mario Sunshine's 96 shines, which you can imagine is like a diet 120, so it's like a 3-hour run. Unfortunately, due to age, I guess, I don't really have the stamina for like long runs anymore. Now I'm kind of settled for more like hour and a half long runs. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like when the fatigue kind of starts to set in for around the 2-hour mark for like a 3-hour run, yeah, which is where I would normally be, I guess, if I wasn't collecting gems and such.
okay. Yeah, I know. I've always had a problem with keeping focused on the game, and you've done an absolutely marvelous job, chatting and commentating, while playing the game to such a high standard. Props to you
Thanks.
for
Yeah.
that. Yeah, it's been really cool to see Luigi's Mansion played this way. But I suppose being watching Bingothon and being here with us, you really get to see games you wouldn't have thought could be played in a bingo setting, and it's really nice to see how certain communities and groups of people have developed the bingo side of their game, and it's really marvelous to see.
All right, I'm gonna try and pay attention this time. So the way this boss works is there's 3 ghosts hiding under the hat, and every time you catch one of them, they do the hat game again, and they replace the missing ghost with a bomb. So apologies if I just don't talk for a minute.
No worries. I'll try not to distract you.
Oh yeah, no worries. It's just like, all right. Surely it's this one, right? But yeah, I remember I really liked like the concept of this boss fight. So for this 3rd cycle, for example, I was like, okay, like they've kind of revealed their hand, no pun intended. Okay, I just have to follow the ghost in the hat, right? You probably already know which hat has the ghost in it. It's gonna go around like this, and then they hit you with this. Really bad timing, but they hit you with that. And then it was like, oh, you know what? You got me. I'm impressed. The game still managed to catch me by surprise by flickering the lights.
Well done. Wow.
But I imagine, like, for a lot of people playing this casually, like the first time, like, oh, you're following the hats, and all of a sudden the lights go out, and you might just get like disoriented, and you don't remember which one was the ghost was hiding in. So my trick is just I kind of follow with my eyes the one that has the ghost in it, and my knowledge of object permanence usually assists me whenever the lights go out. But yeah, this is probably, I think, from a design perspective, this is probably my favorite boss fight in the game. Just like the so we just finished floor 11. So you'd think the next level would be floor 12, and you're partially right. But we're gonna get blocked out of being able to finish floor 12 pretty quickly, actually. So we're gonna have to do a bit of revisiting.
Okay.
So putting things in the context of the bingo board, floor 12 is the one where you can rescue Yellow Toad. And we're about to do our B2 revisit, where I'm going to pick up the rest of the gems, and I'll probably redeem my gem finders there as well.
So a few goals coming up then.
Yep.
Lovely. It seems pretty much every goal you get from now on will give you a bingo in one way or another.
Yeah, I've kind of filled everything up at this point.
Yeah. And we've had word from the big boss Floha that they ordered food an hour and 50 minutes ago and it still hasn't arrived.
Oh no! Hopefully it doesn't get cold.
Yes. You know, a hangry Floha is not. Yes.
Oh,
yes.
absolutely.
Currently quivering underneath my desk in fear. Hoping that I don't turn schizophrenic and hear Floha outside my window or in my head again. For those of you that were here last night, Discord was bugging and I could hear Floha and some other runners in a completely separate Discord call. So my fellow co-host and I we were confused why it was happening, but we were completely laughing away because I could hear everything that was happening in the other call. But the people in that call didn't know it, so it was just I was trying to have a conversation with my co-host, and then I could just suddenly hear Floha, and I thought I'd literally lost my mind. That's what Otogi and Bingothon does to a man, but it's worth it.
All right, so we're blocked off by like the really large like boat that's blocking the door into the level. And coincidentally, once you kind of interact with the boat, Egad calls you and says, "Hey, why don't you come over to the lab? I have something to ask of you." And so this is a scripted visit to the lab, which is like, if I end up having a board that gets this far, this is where I make my purchases, because I don't have to go out of my way to go to the lab because the game is forcing me to. And so he sent one of the toads off to get a part to upgrade the poltergust. And unfortunately, Toad went missing, so we have to go and rescue him.
Oh no!
I remember I asked during the blind match, I was like, Red Toad goes missing, and you have to rescue him like halfway through the game. So does the rescue Red Toad goal have to get like unmarked or something if you get this far?
What was the decision on that?
The consensus was once you get Red Toad from Amadeus, that's good enough.
Fair enough. It's not your fault if he decides to go off and just get himself captured again.
I rescued him once. I don't have to do it again.
Precisely.
All right. So, unfortunately, this level isn't as easy as go grab that part from the back there and bring it back to Egad. I can actually demonstrate real quick. So if I open this door, as one would probably attempt to do on the way back. Oh wait, Egad gets angry at me. I think I have to pick up the part first. So I want to try to attempt a cool kind of shot here. So I can shoot Toad all the way across the room, and I should be able to hit the part from here. This game does thankfully have like a little auto lock where like if you're really close to aiming an object at something, like for example like your plunger, the game will kind of auto lock onto it for you. So if you're a bad shot like me, it kind of helps you out.
Oh,
Alright, now I'll
cool.
try opening the door. You can actually see on the minimap that the door is blocked, but I'll. Big Red is taking a nap, so we have to take the long way out of the level. So this really kind of makes use of the whole using Toad as a projectile to interact with things, and finish the level if you hadn't already gotten used to it with the first two instances where you have Toad.
Okay. How many different toads are there in the game to rescue?
3. Oops. Red, blue, and yellow.
Ah,
I think we have a goal for a yellow Toad.
we do.
Why isn't this working?
Oh, you can stick it onto Luigi. That's so funny.
Yeah, so part of the goo push formula, sometimes you can push Luigi through collision, but sometimes you have to, if for some reason if you shoot the plunger up onto his head before attempting a goo push, it gives him some upward momentum.
Okay.
Hey all, do we have time for one quick announcement?
Absolutely.
All right.
Go ahead.
So, we're getting into the final hours of this marathon. But we have prepared a special treat for you. But you gotta make it. You gotta work for that. When or if we raise $2,000 for Fred Hutch, we will have a bonus game at the end of the marathon.
Ooh.
Oh,
Now-
you heard the man.
Now, you might probably be wondering, a bonus game? But what is it? Is it gonna be worth my while? And I will say, it sure as hell is gonna be, because we're gonna have a Payday 2 bingo run by Pink Batman after the closing ceremony if we reach $2,000 for Fred Hutch. So you get your work cut out for
Fantastic
you.
news.
Yeah, and if you want to see that, you gotta donate.
How far off are we?
We are currently $663 away from 2,000.
I mean, there is still some time. Might seem like a bit of a stretch right now, but hey, we still have like, I don't know, 10 hours? More. We have
That's
more than
true.
10
Or
hours.
even
Well-
more, I'd say.
I think we
And
have
you know,
like,
if there's
I don't remember exactly how many hours we have, but like somewhere between 12 and 15, I believe.
You know what? I think that's totally doable.
Oh, absolutely. I believe. I think the trend is that most of the donations tend to come in near the end of events like these, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Definitely. Make sure to get your donations in if you want to see that. That's all from me. I'm gonna sit back and wait again for my food.
Thank you, Floha. I hope it comes soon. Don't starve.
Try my
Enjoy
best.
your meal.
And with that,
My,
we had
that's
Floha.
fantastic news.
It is. It really is.
So,
You know,
And
if there's
everyone
any.
out there, friends, you know the drill. Judging from the current schedule, you have so much time. You have I would say, for 15 to 16 hours to fill the bar all the way up to $2,000. So hit us up with the donation button below the stream, or with or just follow the link in chat with !donate. Every dollar that you send us is going straight towards a great charity, the Fred Hutch Cancer Center, which is doing amazing work and has been a partner to Bingothon for a very long time. So get the donations in. We can do that.
Absolutely, I believe, and you know, as always, if there's any oil sugar daddies in chat, any monopoly men and women, we'd absolutely love to have your presence known, and all that. So yeah, as Arani said, !donate or the link below, and every dollar donated goes towards Fred Hutch, which is an absolutely fantastic charity organization. Bingothon has worked with Fred Hutch over the last few years to raise $13 for the charity, or $13,000, sorry, for the charity over the past 3 years, all going towards life-saving research treatments and patient care, as well as helping over 80,000 people receiving the COVID-19 vaccination at Fred Hutch in the last couple of years. Furthermore, this is helping Fred Hutch unlock how cancers and infectious diseases start and spread, harnessing the immune system to fight disease, and working to make treatment more equitable and accessible for more people. And we're hoping to make it up to $15,000 raised in total for them, which would be absolutely smashing to see. And now back to Luigi's Mansion 3. I believe you got all the gems in floor B2.
Yep.
So that just leaves four goals left. So yeah, you're in the kind of the home stretch now, almost.
All right, so we're bringing Toad and the upgrade back to EGAD. Now my question is, where is Luigi going to end up for this cutscene? Oh, he's in the right place this time. So one kind of funny thing that happens a lot during my runs is Luigi will be in the wrong place during this cutscene. He'll be standing by the door. Glad he could follow his stage cue for the big event, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah. Whoa. Yeah.
Okay, so what we just got is called Super Suction. There is a total of 3 places in the whole game where you get to use Super Suction. One small side effect of this is you can more effectively bust ghosts. Oh, I actually have to go back and get a boo. So I hadn't really talked about like optimal combat against ghosts. So one thing that LM3 added is you can fill up a meter, and when the meter fills up, you can start slamming ghosts. And when you start slamming the ghosts, like the meter starts to go down, and eventually the meter runs out, and you let go of the ghost. If you're casually playing this game, in the beginning, you'll probably think that the optimal number of slams for a ghost is 4. Actually, it's 5. If you time your slams with like a rhythm, you can actually get 5 slams in, and so Super Suction actually brings that number up from 5 to 7. So with 7 slams, you can actually take on the ghosts with more health bars. Like for example, the hammer has 200 health. It's a lot more easier to take him down to 0 in one go with the Super Suction enhanced slam. All right, so it's time to try and deduce where this guy is hiding. Can I pull this suitcase? I can't. I think he's in here. All right. So in terms of side content, the last thing I'd have to do is getting all the gems if I make it all the way to floor 14, which if I have a general idea of what my pace is like, shouldn't be a problem. All right, so I'm going to go to floor 12 and show off the brand new super suction upgrade.
Okay, so are you just kind of gonna progress the story to get the rest of the goals?
Yeah, pretty much. So just to get a kind of general idea of like the forecast for the run. This is floor 12. We're gonna get to do this level, and then 13, and then the second Polterkitty segment, 14, and then 15, and then that'll be it.
Okay.
We're going all the way to the end.
All right.
We're stopping right short of we're stopping just short of King Boo. So.
Yeah. Yeah, you've gotten to show off almost every single part of the game. Well, not like there's side quests and things like that I'm sure would take forever to show, but I think you've done the game justice, showing off like the main story and a lot of that kind of thing. But yeah, it's definitely been cool to see Luigi's Mansion played in a bingo setting. It's not something I thought I'd see, but
I had a lot of fun when I started routing and stuff. It's just like a really refreshing kind of take, and I can still get to show off all the cool stuff. So
absolutely. And I suppose having the speedrunning knowledge when playing bingos, it's like, oh, I can apply this speedrunning tech here, or something that may not be used in like the any percent route, you get to kind of use in bingo, which is really cool because it improves your overall kind of knowledge of the game and routing abilities and things like that, which is really, really cool.
Yeah, I really like being able to apply game knowledge kind of. I know Sunshine Bingo in particular has, I think there was a Sunshine Bingo actually earlier during the event, where Sunshine Bingo is such a huge test of game knowledge, just because of the number of things that can show up on the bingo board that you would never see in even a big run like 120. Just misses a few things. For example, bingo likes to do, I think, 100 coin shines in Sunshine that you would never see. But I think almost everything you see in an LM3 bingo would get covered by 100%, except for the achievements. And you don't buy anything from the in-game shop either. So I guess I did get to kind of show off the Royal Coffers achievement, which I would never. Well, actually, wait. I just realized I would do that in 100% because the Royal Coffers has a gem in it. So that's not the best example, but I think there's an achievement for flashing all the flowers on floor 7. That is not required for 100%. It is required for 200%, but nobody runs 200%. It's way too much stuff.
What would be the difference between 100% and 200%?
So I think 200% you have to do all the achievements, which requires you have to do some scare scraper content because some of the achievements are exclusive to the scare scraper mode. 100% is just all gems, all boos, and the A rank mansion.
Oh wow, okay. Yeah, no, it's. I think it's cool that they kind of separated out the achievements from the 100%. That's kind of a neat thing that I haven't really seen much of before. Yeah, that's definitely a cool twist on 100%. So what boss would this be? Who are you fighting now?
Yeah, so this is Captain Fishhook. So a lot of the sort of trend with like the sort of more structured boss fights is the boss at some point like possesses some object. So with Amadeus, it was his piano. With Ugg, the caveman ghost, he possessed the T-Rex in the museum, and so Captain Fishhook possesses his own boat and uses that to fight you.
Certainly a unique idea for a boss fight. So would this be the end of the floor once you beat this guy, or?
Pretty much.
Nice. And this is floor 12.
12, yeah.
12? Okay. And then the lucky 13.
Yeah. Oh. Oh.
So
The ghost
the
dog
toad,
is kind of cute, not gonna lie.
the
Sorry.
Polterpup is great. Everybody, Polterpup is amazing. So I know he's a bit of a menace in the second game, because I think in the second game you have to kind of chase him around and to get something, but now he's kind of your ally.
Hey. Yeah, and that is Yellow Toad and the third last goal of
we're almost
this
there.
blackout. Yeah.
So believe it or not, I have had longer longer triple bingos in the sense that I've had to go further in the story. So my longest board, the last goal I had to check was to vacuum Buccaneer, which is the boo on this floor actually. And one thing I don't think I mentioned was I think, yeah. So I had to play up through floor 12, and then I had to reload the level to get so the game would hide the boo.
Okay. I don't know if it's just me just completely blanking on this floor, but it seemed like a really short playtime to get to the boss.
Yeah, the boss levels tend to be pretty short. It's kind of like I guess I'd like kind of liken them to the area portrait ghosts of the first game. So you had like the big boss ghost, and so this is sort of just like a break from sort of like the big levels. But yeah, floor 4, 9, and 12 are all pretty short. These next levels are actually relatively short compared to like the other main levels you would see. I don't know if that's like a sort of afterthought, like they were kind of like rushing to finish up the game. They're like, oh, let's put in these levels. But these next two levels are going to be pretty short compared to stuff like, you know, the pyramid.
Okay. Do you have to revisit floor 14 to get all the gems, or can you just straight up get them?
You can get them all in one go.
Ah, lovely. Is there a percentage meter in the game somewhere where you'd be able to kind of see how much of the game you completed at the end of the run, or?
So typically, there's a gallery where you can view like all the ghosts you've captured. You can see all the gems you've collected. You can see all the boos you've collected. I don't think there's like a numerical thing.
Okay, all right. So I know some games are really weird when they're counting their 100%. It's like, have I got 100%, or what am I missing? Yeah. What's the boss that you need to defeat to rescue Mario? It's not King Boo, is it? It's the one before that. Is it, or?
So the boss of that you fight before rescuing Mario is the owner of the hotel, Helen Gravely. That's Helen with 2 L's. I'm one for like a good pun, and all the names of a lot of the ghosts are really good. I like there's Chef Soulflay. There's Dr. Potter is the name of the guy in the plant level because because like I don't want to explain the joke, but yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really good RNG. So the key to the next door is actually can be hidden in any of these pieces of exercise equipment. So the earlier you find it, the better.
Oh, okay. Can that sometimes take a bit of time to find, or is it generally fairly quick?
I've had runs where I had to search every piece of equipment.
Oh no.
I've had runs where I'm on the fourth piece of equipment. I'm like, okay, it's down to 2. I'm gonna try and beat. I'm gonna try to cheat the game or beat the system by skipping the 5th piece of equipment and checking the last one, thinking that that's the one that it is, and then it turns out it was in the 5th one the whole time. So I still had to check them all anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're actually pretty darn close to the end of this level already. I just have one more room after this, and then it's the boss. So like, yeah, really short level, and I didn't skip anything content-wise. This is just the level. Oh, I did skip the weight room, I guess. So that's already. But yeah, this is a really short level.
Would you have a kind of favorite bingo board that you've done in the past, or would you just kind of have a couple goals that you like coming up bingo-wise?
I like the boards where, in order to get triple bingo, I have to decide like which floor do I want to get gems from. Like sometimes I'll have one where like in order to have my 3 bingos, I can either get all the gems on floor 6 or get all the gems on floor 7, and I can kind of either mix it up a bit, or it lets me use my brain a little more in terms of like, what's the fastest way to go. Gem routing is probably one of my favorites.
Okay. Yeah, no, that it definitely seems like a fun thing to do. Just getting all the collectibles, but again, that all stems from your massive game knowledge. Knowing where all the gems are from your time doing 100% and things like that. You know where they are.
Yeah.
And yeah.
So this is Johnny Deepend. So his whole deal is that it's not really much of a boss fight, so much as in order to catch him, we gotta drain his swimming pool first. So that's what that valve in the back is supposed to do.
Okay. Can't wait to see this boss fight now and just, see what it has in store.
It's not as impressive as it sounds. Just drain his pool and then.
Yeah. Just drain the pool and then put him in the Hoover.
Yep. So Johnny Deepend has the smallest health total of all the boss ghosts in the game. Even if you were to count like the 3 magician sisters separately, each of them have 100 health.
Okay. And just to let everyone know, we're hoping to reach $15,000 raised in total over all of our marathons for Fred Hutch over the last couple of years. And prior to this marathon starting, we had raised $12,914 for Fred Hutch. And that just means if we can get our total up to 2,086, I believe, then we'll have the 15k raised for Fred Hutch over 5 years, which is a really nice round number, and it would be great to see. And if we get above 2,000, we also have a special little bonus kind of feature at the end of the marathon. So after the closing ceremony, we will be having an extra game or two played by Pika at the end of the marathon if we hit that $2,000. And if you need any more reason to donate to the marathon, we have we have plenty. So thank you to our sponsor Team 17, who have provided us with several game packs and codes for our donators. And if you donate $25 or more to the marathon, it doesn't all have to be in one donation. It can be across several if you want. But if you donate $25 total, then you're entered into a chance to win several Team 17 game packs, including the co-op pack, the family-friendly pack, the horror pack, the platformer pack, the story-rich pack, and then if you donate $40 or more, you're entered into with a chance to win the Team 17 grand prize of their 2023 releases, which is very exciting. But we also have a few Bingothon specific rewards that you can be entered into a giveaway for, all of which are provided by the Bingothon staff, so a huge shout out to them. So if you donate $5 or more, you can get the neutral Bingothon mug, which is a staple here. If you donate $10 or more, you can get the 5th anniversary edition of the mug, which is really, really cool, and heavily coveted and sought after by many people, might I add. And if you donate $30 or more, you're entered in with a chance to get a Super Mario RPG EU digital code, which is really cool. So those are kind of our giveaways throughout the entirety of the marathon, but we do have several upcoming goals and bid wars. We have the Final Fantasy V Career Day goals, incentives, and bid wars. So if we raise another $53, the Final Fantasy V Career Day players will have to defeat the portal boss. And then for as little as $4, you can get to submit a name for one of the characters in Final Fantasy V, which will be really, really cool. And I believe we have The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time for the randomizer run that is on later. We have a bid war going on for the file name, so if you donate as little as $2 for that, you can pick your name for one of the file names. And then we've got a few more for the Ocarina of Time, a few different incentives, such as the Grotto Entrance Randomizer and things like that. All very, very cool. Some of them don't have any money donated towards them yet, so you can donate as little as you want, and you can get to pick those, which is really, really cool. Just a few more things. This marathon marks 5 years since the original Bingothon marathon in December 2018, and in that time we've raised over $28,000 for various charities, completed 11 marathons, and branched out into various external events and content, including the Blind Bingo series or the Breath of the Wild Bingo Bash, among several other ones. To everyone who has been here in some shape or form since that first marathon, thank you so much, and here's to another 5 years. And if you needed any more reason to donate, all money raised during this marathon goes to the Fred Hutch charity. And if you didn't know, Bingothon has raised over $13,000 for Fred Hutch in the past 3 years, all going towards life-saving research, treatments, and patient care, as well as helping over 80,000 people receiving the COVID-19 vaccine at Fred Hutch in the last couple of years. Furthermore, this is helping Fred Hutch to unlock how cancers and infectious diseases start and spread, harnessing the immune system to fight disease and working to make treatment more equitable and accessible for more people. and we're hoping to make it $15,000 in total by the end of the marathon, and I believe we can do it. But yeah, now so back to Luigi's Mansion 3, which is the current run, and after this we will have Pummel Party, and after that we have Road Trip Adventure. So lots of action packed in the next few hours, but we are coming up now kind of towards the end of our Luigi's Mansion run here with labmemb3r, and yeah, so whereabouts are we in the game, and where are we going next in Luigi's Mansion?
Yeah, so we're wrapping up the second and last Polterkitty segment. So Polterkitty currently has the elevator button for floor 14, and we're not allowed to continue until we catch it. So this takes us back to floors 13, 12, and 11. So a lot of retreading ground here. And then we'll be going to floor 14 and getting all the gems.
Okay. Yeah, so it's gonna be fun to watch. So how many more bosses is there? Is it just the one to rescue Mario, or is there two?
So we've got two more. Well,
Okay.
if you don't count Polterkitty as a boss, which I don't. Sorry.
Fair enough.
But yeah, so we've got two more bosses, and then we'll have finished the board.
Okay, and sorry, apologies, but I was mistaken there. It won't be Pika doing an extra run if we raise $2,000. It'll be Pink Batman. Apologies for that. So yeah, it'll be really exciting to see if we can get if we can get up to $2,000 total. It'll be more action-packed runs for everyone to watch and enjoy.
It's really a win-win situation. It's more money that is going towards Fred Hutch, and you also profit from that because the marathon is going a lot longer. So I would say hit the donation button, smash it so hard it breaks, and send the donations in. Not only is it going towards a great cause, you also extend the marathon for a bit longer.
Exactly. So is this the Polterkitty fight, the second one now, or is it gonna run away for a little bit, or?
Nope, we're taking care of the problem for good.
Hey.
In the vacuum you go. I like how, so I spawned those gold ghosts during my first visit to floor 11, and I come back to floor 11 like, 10, 20 minutes later, and the game remembers that you spawned them, and they're still there.
That's really neat.
Alright, so floor 14 is the dance hall. It's a pretty short level, even shorter than Fitness Center, and arguably shorter than Spectral Catch. But yeah, they've got to cram 6 hiding places for gems in such a small level. So.
We have just received word that Floha's food has arrived, so I can come out from hiding under the desk, which is absolutely brilliant.
Thank goodness.
Yes. I live to see another day.
This is another achievement. I don't think I've ever seen the achievement for unlocking the hidden vault as a on the bingo board.
How many achievements are there total?
It's a great question. I actually don't know. There's a lot. There's achievements for like really arbitrary things that I don't think honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if those kinds of achievements aren't even on the board. Like I think there's an achievement for riding the elevator 100 times. Just like really, really arbitrary things. Like I think I picked up some achievements like unknowingly. Like you can pick up an achievement for like defeating a hammer, like the big red, with one grab. You can get an achievement for defeating a ghost by slamming it into another ghost, or slamming another ghost into it. You can get just like there's so many achievements. I probably didn't even get them all casually, like even like the non-scare scraper ones.
Okay. I'd assume they add a significant amount of time onto the 100% run when you do 200%.
Oh yeah, I don't know what the 200% record is off the top of my head, but it's several hours longer, I think.
Oh wow. Yeah, 100% in games and maxing them out is definitely a long process, even for smaller games.
Yeah, they put a lot of content into this game. It's pretty impressive considering how like the first game didn't really offer much. It was really just kind of like a tech demo for the GameCube. So it's like the Luigi's Mansion franchise has kind of come a long way, I guess.
Oh yeah. Definitely. I'm trying to remember my times of playing Luigi's Mansion years and years ago. Couldn't you like empty the Hoover at the lab or something like that in exchange for gold in, was it the second game?
Right. I think that was the second game that gave you like a monetary incentive for catching ghosts. Yeah.
Yes, that was on the 3DS, wasn't it? I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that was the Luigi's Mansion game I played the most of back in the day, back in my day.
Yeah, it's kind of incredible just to think of just like how long ago Year of Luigi was. I don't like to think about it, actually. It makes me feel old.
Ah, well.
So that was DJ Phantasmagloria. So we had to play our little dancing mini game, and then we get the elevator button. But on the way out, we had to just trash everything. Check this out. So that's the second of 3 super section segments in the whole game.
Wow.
Yeah, so the only one that's like required for like any percent is the one in the pirate level. And then this and then there's another one on floor 4 where you tear down the great stage.
Okay. Think Batman in chat, as a DJ, this hurts to watch. Yes, it does.
Oh no.
Shield your eyes.
We're not done. The destruction has only just begun. Do I have to spin them both backwards? We have to spin them both backwards. I don't know if it matters, the direction in which you spin them. I kind of just by default hold ZR. Oh, there we go. Music to my ears.
Oh no, not the disco ball.
Not the disco ball.
Not like this.
All right, and that should be the last one.
Hey, just one more goal left to get, is it? Or yeah, just rescue Mario now, and then you'll have a complete blackout. And you've about half an hour to do it. Do you think that's manageable, or?
Yeah, I can do this next segment in like a little over 10 minutes.
Oh, brilliant. Sadly, myself and Arania will be departing in about 5 minutes, as our time as hosts will be coming to an end. For me, anyway. I don't know if Ariana has another shift, but yes, so we'll just we'll be here for a few more minutes anyway. But yeah, this the Luigi's Mansion run has been absolutely phenomenal to see, because it's a really cool game, and you know, you've really gotten to show off just what you can do with the game,
Yes,
which I think is really cool.
I appreciate both of your company. I had a lot of fun taking questions. I remember, I think I said they'd asked me like, well, how should we host your run? Like, do you want to ask a bunch of questions? Like, yeah, you know, there's probably a lot of things I might gloss over by accident, having done this runs of this game for too long. So perhaps a couple of questions would be nice. You asked really good questions, by the way. Really tested my knowledge of this game. So I really appreciate it.
I was completely in the dark going into this run because I've never played really, well, not all that much Luigi's Mansion. So, you know, I'm kind of asking very basic questions, but I'm glad you were able to answer them, and hopefully answered a few questions from people in chat, maybe people that were wondering some things about Luigi's Mansion 3 Bingo, or anyone looking into do it themselves. There's it's out there. You just need to kind of look, and then you'll find it.
I'm here in the same boat with you, Crumpet, because I haven't seen a lot of Luigi's Mansion 3 yet, but I massively enjoyed the experience. So thank you very much, Lab Member, for this fantastic showcase, really.
Thanks for the organizers for letting me do the whole board, I guess. But yeah.
When we realized you'd finish about 2 hours early, we kind of went. We were like, oh.
Oh, no, we're too far ahead of schedule. Oh no.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember because the Sonic Adventure also finished a little early, because then they're like, yeah, can you show up a little before that? And then I think they said 30 minutes before that run was supposed to finish, and they finished almost an hour underestimate. So I was like, oh crap, I gotta get ready.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have seen a lot of peak bingo gameplay in these past few days. It's been so good, but of course it creates a bit of a time predicament. So yeah, you gotta adjust to that. So that's that.
Definitely. But yeah, we have another couple minutes together before we have to depart. So we'll just enjoy this time together. That's true, CJS. We were very much behind last night. Yeah, I'm in the same boat. We were okay. Kind of when I accidentally fell asleep at my desk last night. But we don't talk about that. And then when I woke up, we were well behind, and I'd done a hosting shift this morning. And then when I fell asleep and woke up after that, again, we were suddenly way ahead, and I'm like, what happened?
How did this happen?
Yeah. That's true, Pink Batman. We will make the marathon last longer. Whether Floha wants it or not, it'll happen. Just extend it for a few days, maybe. as long as possible. Yeah, me too, CJS. I don't know what I had taken. Probably just had a few too many tomatoes, but yeah, last night was wild. But yeah, as the clock strikes midnight, as they say. Well, it's 8 o'clock where I am, but as the clock strikes midnight, it's time for Arania and myself to depart. Thank you so much for having us. This is my last host shift for the marathon, so thank you so much for having me. I hope we had fun together.
Absolutely.
Yes, thank you so much. I'll probably be lurking in chat for the rest of the Luigi's Mansion run and a bit after that, so yeah, thank you so much, and we'll leave you in the very, very capable hands of the very fabulous Ariel, sorry, my apologies, my English has kind of stopped Englishing after a few hours.
Happens to
and it does, and I believe Pika will be joining as the co-host shortly, but until then I think so we'll leave you in Ariel's very, very capable hands, and thank you.
No, thank you.
I was going to say the same thing.
Thank you for you both for hosting, and hello there.
Hello, Pika.
Hello.
I just want to say I've had an amazing time with both Crumpet and LabMemb3r. It's also been my last hosting shift of this marathon, but it was my very first Bingothon that I actually hosted for. But I had a great experience, and I will be back in the next iteration of the event. So I'm looking forward to that, and you hope you will be looking forward to me.
We
will. Thank you so much for your time.
Yes, thank you so much.
Yeah, with that being said, Pika, Ariel, have the greatest time.
Thank you so much. Big thanks to Arnea and Crumpet for hosting this wonderful game. Me and Pika are with you for the next 3 hours, I believe. And I am excited not only to watch the end of this run, but also for our upcoming run of Pummel Party Bingo. LabMemb3r, just so you're aware, I love this game so much.
This is a great game.
LabMemb3r, we are just meeting for the first time. You have no idea who I am, I imagine. I started playing video games a couple of years ago. And a game like this was really fun for me because it assumes you know very little about video games and says, okay, go have fun in a haunted house with little fun little puzzles everywhere, but also there's combat, but it's not like combat. You have a vacuum, that's your combat. And I love the puzzles in this game. This is a really fun game. And also it is the scariest game I will ever play, because I hate scary games. And this level of scary is the level of scary that I am comfortable with. So I know that we're at the very end of the game at the final level, and I'm watching you do all the puzzles. I'm like, yep, that's totally how I did that casually.
Oh yeah, there's no way I did half of these the way you're supposed to.
It's funny because the game does telegraph to you pretty decently how you're kind of supposed to do it, but like you can still kind of do things your own way. I think it's a very good game that way.
Yeah. There's definitely like some of them there's like
yeah, you just like really walk through
we're
those.
just not gonna do that. I'm like, we gotta finish. I gotta get my food, so we're just gonna go push through the gate, and we're gonna fight Helen right now.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I imagine you do naughty things with Luigi, and not in a gross way, in a breaking the game kind of way, obviously.
In a speedrunning way. Yeah.
In a speedrunning way. Although I imagine that the cutscenes are probably kind of their own. Yeah, they're kind of annoying, I imagine, in a speedrunning sense. But
you can actually skip most of the cutscenes in this game.
Oh,
If you Oh, intentionally, yeah. So if you beat the game on a certain like Nintendo Switch account, the next time you start a new game, you can skip all the cutscenes. Well, most of them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So this right now I'm playing on an account that has beaten the game at least once. At this point, it's probably beaten the game like at least like I don't know. I can't even put a number on it. Probably like
Yeah.
20 something.
Oh yeah, I remember this level. This took me a long time.
Yeah, Master Suite is a really big level.
Yeah. And again, I always think that interesting combat in games like this it's like how a game ups the ante. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it definitely like. I'll be one to admit. I mean, when I play this game casually, I died at least once. I died to Amadeus. He's like one of the first bosses in the game. I'm like, all right, you know what? You got me.
And I love again. One of the things I enjoy about Bingo is seeing the efficient and or / wrong ways to play the game. Although I imagine that there's only so many wrong ways you can do this last level. There's only so much you can do. Although, yeah, this level I have the curse of speedrunning and damageless knowledge, and I always like to think about how you would do certain things damageless, and I was convinced that you couldn't do this fight damageless. That at some point the laser's gonna hit you.
Yeah. I think damageless, the only thing I can think of is like how do you do it damageless is there's the part on floor 7 where the haunted beanstalk reaches through the wall and grabs Luigi. I don't know how you avoid taking damage there.
Yeah, I don't know either, man.
Take at least 5 small points of damage and it's like, all right.
Yeah. One of my favorite observations of this game in terms of its mechanics was I don't know if this was intended or not, or if this was just me being not very good at pressing buttons, but I felt like there was a clumsiness to the controls in this game, and which felt correct and in character for Luigi, who is scared the entire time and is a little bit clumsy. But I was wondering if that was something that's also been observed as veteran video gamers.
If I would account for that, because I know like a lot of like the game does kind of capture Luigi's sort of like very like kind of bumbling around. There's literally like. We have a mechanic called Spook Speed where it's literally faster for Luigi to run around scared of things than not. Because I don't know if you noticed, but like whenever Luigi gets scared, he'll run faster. He throws doors open instead of slowly opening them. So like it sounds cruel, but we want Luigi to be scared more often than not.
I mean, that makes a lot of sense actually, that like the adrenaline of fear, makes you do things you couldn't normally do.
All right, so I guess I'll mark the goal when Mario comes out of his painting here, and I guess that would be time.
Yeah, well, or you're not gonna do that. You're not gonna do King Boo.
I can do it.
I don't.
How are we doing on time? It's like a 7-minute segment.
We have time.
All right.
If that's something that you'd like to do, otherwise,
it's been a while, but I'm down to show it off.
Yeah, I mean, like obviously, like if we'll count it as the goal being done, but like we have time. If you want to finish the game and do the final fight, I'm not gonna stop you.
I can't believe Bingothon tricked me into playing all of Luigi's Mansion 3.
Gosh, I know. We're just the worst of the tricksters and tricking you into doing things you didn't want to do.
No, yeah, I mean, so like my last any percent run was before Halloween, and then I did a 100% run for Halloween. So like up until that point, I've really only done bingo, where most triple bingo boards will only bring me through like about half the game. So this is really, it's like I have to reach into the archives of my muscle memory to remember how to do all this stuff.
Again, like if you can't remember what you're doing and it all goes, it all goes poorly, don't worry about it. It's fine.
Oh no, yeah, it can be terrible.
We're here to have fun and have a good time.
I'm having a great time.
Yeah, I also think that Bingothon's all about kind of like showcasing games too, and that like, I think that watching a bingo of a video game is a very interesting way to sort of preview the game, because you're not really seeing all of the game most of the time, except in this, I guess, exception. And you get to sort of like kind of see the high points or see the hits almost. Oh
Yeah.
god, I loved this little part where she's like, yeah, this isn't a Mario game. Sorry about that. If this had been a Mario game, you could have done that the whole time.
Yeah, Luigi never learned how to wall jump. Well, to be fair, I feel like wall jumping would be really hard to do with the poltergust strapped on your back. Add a bit of extra
That's
weight.
probably true. I was kind of me personally. I have a lot of trouble with platformers, and I liked that this game wasn't too reliant on platforming as a mechanic, but also does employ it because it is a Luigi game. Like it is gonna be a thing.
Yeah, I like the sort of like pseudo platforming. Like there's a bit of like pseudo platforming in this game.
Yeah, like but there's also a level of like it's hard to miss this jump. Like here we go.
Yeah, so this wouldn't be a Luigi's Mansion game without at least one King Boo appears. I skipped the first one, so it's only fair that.
Yeah. Exactly. It's only fair that he must make his appearance. He must make his presence.
I guess from like a story point of view is like the beginning of the game. It's like King Boo shows up. He's like, I've trapped all your friends in this painting. And Luigi makes his like cowardly escape through the laundry chute, and then like 3 hours later, it's like it's all right. It's time. We've rescued most of our friends. It's time to confront King Boo for good, whether Luigi wants to or not.
Yeah, and he's still just scared as ever. And I think that if there's a cute, warm, fuzzy message to this game, it is that it is to do things scared, but you can still do them. Do it scared. It'll be fine. You'll still be able to do it, and you'll still be able to triumph in the end. That's very smushy, I think, even for me, but yeah.
So a lot of the optimization in the King Boo fight basically boils down to how many attack cycles do you want to risk canceling by taking damage intentionally. In short, it just comes to how cocky are you feeling. So you could, in theory, kind of whittle yourself down to 19 health. The game does drop hearts is more likely to drop hearts if you're low on health, but you're more relying on good luck there.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I'm always curious about how you can abuse and manipulate fights like this by how you act, where you stand. Do you take damage? What attacks you do when? Because I know that those are all things that can influence enemy behavior. Oh, this game is so silly. One of the things I do enjoy about this game also is that they made a game that you can play as a co-op game, but also can play as a single-player game without it changing the dynamics too much.
Yeah, I think it's pretty much the same on solo. It's just you have to manage both player 1 and player 2 kind of simultaneously. But yeah, that is kind of a cool concept.
I like that it's one of those like your little brother wants to play the game with you, so you can be like, okay, you can do Luigi.
You can be Luigi.
Like, okay, fine. I appreciate a game that's like that can let someone who is less skilled play the game a little bit. Although I will say there are some parts of playing Luigi that require a little bit of finesse.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's gotten worse.
All right. I don't know if it was unintended to be able to shoot a bomb into his mouth during that attack. But the fact that I was able to do it probably means the devs had it in mind. But it is really scary to like try it, and then I've had runs where I get it wrong, and then I have to walk through. I have to sit through several King Boo attack cycles at either 39 or 19 health, and it's like, oh no.
Yeah, that is what I remember about this fight, even casually, is that like if you missed your chance, you have to wait. And that's with a lot of the bosses in this game. That's one of the few criticisms of this game is that like you get very few chances to attack, or at least telegraphed chances to attack in the boss fights.
Mm-hmm.
And it can be kind of frustrating to have to wait all over again to like, okay, I missed the chance, I'll have to wait again, you know?
So yeah, that was any percent plus 4 floors worth of gems plus 3 extra boos.
Yay! GG. Excellent work.
Was that
well
bonus
done.
4 boost? Luigi. There is something, sometimes some like really scary thing will happen, and if you're in control of Luigi, he'll just shrug. He's like, just another Friday evening.
Like, can't really hurt me. I just, unless it's a puddle of water,
he just
really
took
matter to
that
me.
fall like a champ.
Yeah, it's like, whatever. Oh, there we are. Yay! Oh, hooray! The professor.
Everyone's here.
Oh. Yeah, if you ended the game after just rescuing Mario, it wouldn't have felt right. I feel like.
It would have been, like, it's so close. Like, where's the sense of closure? Like,
yeah, there's no closure. Sorry to make you do a whole other boss fight. Just for my own personal closure.
It's good practice if I want to do runs again.
Yeah, and never know. Maybe something you want to do again. But also, I fully respect this any speedrunner's decision to be like, you know what, I've done what I'm gonna do. Well, that was Luigi's Mansion. I know I wasn't here for most of the run, and if you want to talk about any sort of reflections you have on what just happened, if this was a good or a bad bingo, or any shoutouts you may have, lab member, you have the floor.
Yeah. So I think I'd mentioned this is actually a really short board. So the 3 bingos I had in mind would have had me beating the game, not beating the game. It would have me finishing up through, I think, floor 6, and then I'd have to go back and get like 3 boos, and then I'd be done. And that would be under an hour.
Oh gosh.
Then I think around a time I was on floor 6, they're like, you just want to do a blackout bingo? And I'm like, all right, I'm looking at the board, I'm like, I could probably do this.
Yeah.
Because there's a couple of side pit stops I have to make for gems. And I was factoring in, by any percent PB and all that. I'm like, hey, sure. Yeah. So I mean, it was a good balance, I guess, because I know when I was putting this together, I was I did a couple practice runs. I'm like, but this only puts me halfway through the game. I think a lot of concerns when you're doing something for a marathon run are I really don't want to go over estimate. I know I've had one other category I've done is any percent hoverless, where there's this frame perfect trick that is oh, how do I factor in the possibility that I lose upwards of 10 minutes trying to perform this trick? But yeah, and this was, I think, when I submitted this run, it was pretty early on into doing practice bingo boards, so I hadn't really gotten a feel for how long it took me to do. But yeah, I mean, in terms of speed strats, I pretty much got almost everything I wanted to in a reasonable amount of time. Goop pushes are a little finicky, just because the physics of goop pushing is actually RNG. So I think, but I mean, I got most of my boss optimizations that I wanted. The only big ones I think I missed were the mechanic ghost and B2. I got the regrab, but I started pulling on him, but then I didn't get him down to 100 health, so I let him go at 83 or something. But I got most of the boss optimizations I wanted to. So I think in terms of like as a performance, I think I'm happy with how the run aspect of it went.
Yeah, that's
but
great.
yeah,
And it is the nature of bingo for things to never go quite to plan.
oh yeah, no,
No.
I think honestly, I think I would have held myself to a higher standard if this was like an actual run. Like it's like, oh yeah, you know, like I have the timer kind of floating above my head. The timer mostly being like PB, not like the estimate. Trying to play as close to PB as possible, but I don't have that kind of restriction because I didn't know what the board was going to be like and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's definitely like a lot more relaxed, I think. Like there's a handful of games that I know have like really interesting bingo options. Now I'm like, oh, this is like a really nice alternative to like being under pressure of doing a timer. Like I definitely like to do bingos for other games. I do like I guess this is the part where I plug myself a little bit.
Yes, please.
Metroid Dread,
Mhm.
Metroid Dread, Super Mario 64, Super Mario Sunshine, soon to be Luigi's Mansion 2 when it gets released on the Switch. I do all that. Twitch.tv/labmemb3r. I have no idea what I'm going to be doing once my marathon runs are done. I have an 80% hoverless run on a Wednesday that I have to do. And then I'm going home for Christmas, so I have like 2 weeks of streams after that.
Great.
But yeah, not to make it all about me, Luigi's Mansion 3 community is great. We're a really small community in terms of like people actively running the game. It's like me, the world record holder in several categories. That isn't me. That's one other person. And there's like a couple of people that I think on and off that maybe don't partake as much in the Discord, but yeah, you can find the Luigi's Mansion community has a shared Discord. So LM1, LM2, LM3 or LM3, LM1 on the 3DS, and probably LM2 on the Switch is probably going to be added to the Discord. So it's like a huge group of people. I don't know if there's a lot of interaction between the games, but like yeah, I mean. I originally came in from LM1, but you know, I'm sure we'd be happy to have more people learning the game. It's really easily accessible. Like if you learn no major skips, you don't have to do any of the weird goo pushes if that seems like really intimidating. You don't even really have to learn like the boss optimization. Just like getting comfortable with like going through the game in like a 3-4 hour time period. It's a pretty. I think the barrier to entry. There's no barrier to entry. It's mostly just like the optimization. So if you go to speedrun.com/lm3, there should be a little Discord link to the Luigi Mansion Discord server. If I manage to draw in new prospective Luigi Mansion speedrunners, I'll be happy. I'd be happy to take questions on top of the questions that I took during this. We'd be happy to have more runners and kind of yeah.
All right. Well, thanks so much, Lab Member. This was a great run, and I think we're gonna move on because we think we've got a little anniversary video to show in our break, but before we start Pummel Party. But again, thank you so much for this excellent run. You did a great job, and stay tuned. We will be right back with Pummel Party right after a short intermission. Everyone say bye.
Bye. Wait, Luigi's gonna say it in a few seconds.
Oh, wait.
Hi, everybody.
Bye, everybody. Oh, I forgot. Thanks so much.
Hello, welcome to Bingothon.
To tell guys what it is we're going to do for the next 2 days are not your typical speed runs. They are bingo runs.
The bot wins! No!
No! My game has crashed. That has never happened before.
How silly.
Go.
How silly.
Go.
No, not again!
What's up now?
Here, have that RNG. Get hurt.
This is mine! This is mine!
I know that our staff team has changed quite a lot over the years. We were 3 people in the beginning. We lost one of them. Now it's just us 2 from the beginning. Quickly after the first marathon, Liplock and Trix have joined us. And yeah, now we got 3 more people. Stacy joined us, I believe, somewhere around 2020. Rob was last year. I think CJ? Was CJ also not last year? Was CJ already 2 years ago? There's been a change in like the organizational team. It's like people come and go, like volunteers come and go, but also like on the stream, like from the first marathon, like what have we done different? We started doing a host bingo, which Bingothon nowadays would probably be unimaginable without a host bingo. We have started doing charity interviews. We contacted the charity ourselves. We've asked for an interview with them. We started giving away prizes, and yeah, it's just crazy. It's like some of these things you wouldn't have imagined 5 years ago. I mean, honestly, 5 years ago, I couldn't even have imagined like how was the first Bingothon gonna be. Like back then, we were streaming on the Speedruns Live channel. That's also another change. We're now streaming on our own channel. It's also pretty crazy. Like back then, we still gathered submissions via Google Forms, and God, if I'm thinking back about that, God, please, that was a mess. I'm very happy that Angus is now a thing, and it makes things so much easier for us.
When I look back, the biggest pain I feel is when I see how much time I had to put into the layouts, which I unfortunately don't have anymore. At the beginning, I was more trying things out, because I remember that I also was hosting at some point, but I realized that that's just not my thing. I very much prefer to just do tech and do my runs. We've kind of grown together as a group of organizers, which is really nice. Like, we can trust each other, rely on another. When I joined, I barely knew the people, but now I do. So that's also something that changed, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I think we have learned a lot over the past 5 years. We have learned from our own mistakes and from other people's experiences. We have taken in our volunteers' knowledge that they bring, and skill and ideas, and I think that's fantastic.
I started off as just a measly runner of bingo, as you know, kind of the new initiate into the bingo community, into bingo at large and the bingo community. I kind of spent like 1 or 2 marathons as a runner, a couple marathons as a volunteer, and then became staff from there.